Very tight for time at the top tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but it's a pleasure to have you with us nonetheless. Welcome to Wednesday Night Motorsport Live, exclusive and free across Facebook and YouTube, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Welcome to the first instalment of the return of the merch.GSRC.in Toyota 86 series. This one coming to you from the of Chicago, and it is a 40-minute affair. You've got Adam Hayne and Ryan Jones on the front row. We'll explain more as we get going here. My producer, Dan Yeaman, just in the nick of time, lining up on the grid, ready to bring you all the action, live and free tonight, and it is a wet circuit to get things underway. A 40-minute race to get the new campaign underway for the 86s. Away we go. This will be treacherous, and we know what the racing in the Toyota 86s can be like, so expect fireworks from the outset as we get going in tippy-toe style conditions. Good start, Adam Hayne converts pole position into an early lead, leads Ryan Jones to the first corner, and up into turn number 2 we go. Good start, clean start. Just keeping my eyes on everyone at the back there. I'm going to have to talk to the director live on the air tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If you can just fix your frame rate there for me, please, Dan. I'm just noticing that things are a little bit static in parts. As I say, we are a little bit tight for time off the top tonight, folks, so we'll get these little gremlins sorted as we roll, and it is great to have your company. Thank you, mate. 40 minutes, the journey here. So, obviously, previously on a Wednesday night, we had the Legend Cars series in Term 1. Here out the door. We continue with the Supercar support theme, though, because we'll have a super sprint round for the Supercars from here a little bit later on in the evening. That's the lay of the land. As you can tell, the circuit moderately wet. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon server time. We've got Darren lobbed down on the inside of Ryan Jones trying to get up in the second spot and does so. Jonesy slots back into third in the fluorescent rainbow-looking machine at the moment there for DPR Racing. Then the two injectors online racing. Protagonist Brett Barker and Guy Leach 4 and 5. The opening lap has seen a jump start already for Richard Brookfield. We've got Edward Rollo not lining up on the grid. Sean Benici already quite content with the fact that he's not out there on the circuit given the conditions. That might have actually deterred a few people from signing up for the night, because normally we're bursting at the seams, we're packed to the rafters for the Toyota racing here. Dan Yeaman, not so tonight. Good evening to you.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Folks, sorry for the abrupt introduction and kick-off to tonight. Unfortunately, didn't quite get my schedules lined up as intended. We should have been on the air about 7 or 8 minutes ago, rather than, right as they were gridding up on the grid. But alas, we're here. We're at least got all the racing at least lined up. So that should hopefully work out as planned.
Nothing worse than trying to go back and do a replay of these things at 11 o'clock once we already know the result. But now, the other point too, folks, so last term with the Legends, it was all sprint racing all the time. You're going to see a mishmash, a mix and match of sprint rounds and 40-minute long elongated races throughout the course of this term. And the season finale will again be a super sprint. So a lot to be excited about. The tour will follow the Supercar circus. So Wednesday nights are all from the same venue for both the entree and the main course again this term. Merch.GSRC.in coming on board to support the Toyota 86 Challenge, and of course Trophi.AI returning as our Supercar sponsor. Good lineup of competitors here, as you can see on the left hand side of your screen. Matt is still out there at the moment. It's saying we're on lap 1, but I hazard to guess that the totem pole's got a little bit wrong there at the moment, or SDK's got it wrong, one or the other. So bear with us while we get that sorted out. We are on lap 2 as far as I can tell. I didn't think the lap around first time round was anything more than about 1:56. It's not that long a circuit, folks, so we'll sort that out as we go. Across the line, there it goes. It's corrected now. Beautifully done. Good old SDK. It, like everything else at this time of the year, after 2 weeks off, Dan Yeaman, takes a little while to wake up.
Lovely little quirks, yes, where it's working and it's not. And you got a Chase is around in the background. Looks like it's Gary Cousins. Yeah, it is, unfortunately. Yep. The Aussie Races 58 machine. And watch out for the backup there towards the drivers coming through turn 1. Thankfully, no one cleans up his bumper with their nose.
Oh, actually, Mr. Dory's just chimed in, and it was great to see a new name on the grid the other night in GT3 parlance. But SRW versus the GSRC in the 86s, anyone? That would be awesome. I agree. I mean, we've got another car around at the back, and this time that car has found the wall. That's Reece Gosner. We right on board with Darren Lobb. It's interesting. I like the concept because, and let's be perfectly honest, we're talking to one of the podium finishers in the last running of the Australian Open World Nationals, where the GSRC just absolutely smashed it out of the park again. Chapper, a three-time champion. Yeaman, of course, sneaking onto the podium in a fuel save strat race. That was a brilliant effort, mate. Well done on that. Ryan Jones is around. He's dropped down to 5th. 6th now. Adam Labus, Chris Henlock on purpose. Jonesy's gone. And he was having such a good run too. There he is. And we'll come back to the little idiosyncrasies and nuances of this circuit in just a moment. But I'm not sure how I feel about it, Dan. I like the idea in terms of keeping that inter-club rivalry going, but we would have to find yet another night and yet another platform in which to launch it on, because let's be honest, we've got the Australian Open World Nationals and we're having enough trouble trying to slot that into the schedule. So I don't know exactly how much leverage we've got to try and make two inter-club challenges happen. Maybe it might be a biannual sort of thing where we have it one term we have there's Jones's, one term we have an AOWN, and then we have an Australian Tin Top Nationals. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
That's a good question. It's watching also how Reece Gosser ended up around earlier on the lap and just loose really early there into that chute section. At turns, what's that mean? Pardon, 4 and 5 for Gosser. Gary Cousins, how did he end up around turn 1? We'll check that out real quick.
And this is the one that I wanted to have a look at, mate, because for mine, I didn't think there was anywhere near as much need for him to reverse out of there as much as they could. Oh, okay, I see. He didn't get we didn't see the first part of that. We only caught the end of it. He didn't get the correction, the overturn right, 100%, and that's why he had to
been on replays of lap 3 here on lap 4 for Chris Beakley.
It's going to be that sort of night, isn't it? Very tricky sort of track to master in the dry, let alone in the wet. I don't know who the sadistic person was, and I couldn't think of a better word, so I apologise for being so cruel first up on a Wednesday night this term. But who thought this was a good idea? A street circuit and absolutely tripping down low. I'm not sure who thought that was a good idea, but some people can be cruel to be kind, I guess.
Well, I can confirm it's Ben Woods organising this season with the GR86s. Now, his claim is that this was never the intention tonight, that he realised a little late that he needed to actually make sure the fuel tank restrictions were correctly set today, and when he went to do that, it then just does its lovely thing where sometimes the weather settings that you had previously configured with forecasting don't stick, or tell you that they're no longer valid and you have to regenerate them. He let it re-roll the dice. Saying it though, he then chose to say, okay, it's re-rolled the dice and chosen this. I'm down for it. Let's roll.
Yep, exactly. It may have cost a few bums in seats, but as we know, with the new point system in play this term, could give these guys a tremendous leg up towards the back end of the campaign. Just showing up, banking points, consistency, staying out of trouble, persevering. If it all goes to the proverbial and you know you're not going to win the race, at least stay out there and bank the points. There's a lot to be said about the new changes to the points matrix this term, whereby we no longer pay just to 25th, we pay right throughout the field. That is not an issue here where we've only got 22 on the grid, but it is in some of our bigger fields. Braden Sagassa down the inside of Sam Chapman. He wants 2 for the price of 1. He's not going to get by locking purpose, and Chapman's going to get back by him on the outside. We're just talking AOW, and there is the 3-time champion on this screen, and has not stopped gloating about it either. He's not going to let us hear the end of that one. Extraordinary from Chapman to edge himself into GSRC and AOWN folklore at the same time. Sagassa into the side of Chapman. Door-to-door contact for the first time tonight. And Robbins racing, fair game. No one, terribly implicated in all of that or compromised. So play on. Chapman now. His next target is Lockie Purvis. Darren Lobb's just been passed by Brad Keck. Brad Keck's on pit road, that's why. So already we're seeing pit stops, Dan. So that's very early in the piece, 5 laps in. But again, if there's only one compulsory pit stop, and that is one of the other elements of racing in the entree slot on a Wednesday night this term that we didn't have to contend with or take into consideration last term. We do have pit stops. There is only one of them. So that may well be those guys signalling, well, hang on, the track's moderately wet. There's no sign of it drying up to the point where we're going to have to worry about switching over to dry tyres. 1 minute 50, slower lap times, less fuel economy, etc., etc. All those ingredients lining up nicely for them to pit early and then just focus on the task at hand of getting true to the checkered flag as Kurt Chapman now scrapes the wall.
Yeah, they're all pushing the limits here at the moment, but I think, yeah, 40-minute race format. 2 compulsory stops. Forgive me for not knowing for certain, but we'll get back to that talk because Chapman, Sagasa, apparently, we're going to have the duel all the way down this back stretch into the pins. At turn 6, and Sagasa just gets in front without having the nose chop off and his own car looped around there. But Chapman wants back in, up the inside at turn 7 as we come over the crest to get over the train tracks here. Inside, and back up the inside again for Sagasa this time, but they wash out and Chapman hangs on for the spot just now.
Yeah, so changes to the sub-regs on term on term. So there will be in a sprint race 1 compulsory pit stop in race 2. So that's obviously when we've got 2 race nights. In a 40-minute race, 1 compulsory pit stop, and in the super sprint, 1 compulsory pit stop in the 3rd race. So that'll be in week 10. So every week there's going to be a race that requires a pit stop. Hello, Josh Suno. Yes. Oh my God, rain, blimey me. Indeed, I agree with you. Let's hope it's dry for the supercars. They need a break from the rain after what we've seen in the real world in New Zealand in recent days. 11 and a half minutes gone here, 28 and a half to go. Great to have you with us for the first Wednesday night motorsport of term 2. I'm going to try and contain myself and preserve myself a little bit tonight, Jamie, because Formula B's back tomorrow night, and I feel as though the vocal cords are going to get a fair enough workout there.
Ah, yes. I have heard that there's a potentially legendary state of affairs, as it were.
I think I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure if you've had the privilege of being in the booth on a Thursday night.
I wouldn't have, no.
No. Or whenever we've had Formula B on the server. Legend Cars, I guess, is probably the closest we've got. Or the NASCAR when we were on the Oval in Talladega a couple of times ago when I had to sub for somebody. Or Daytona, I think it was. Ooh. Oh, trouble. Car on the wall.
It's Guy Leach.
Guy Leach. And that's the other thing too, mate. I mean, so yes, the Formula B tomorrow night. That is completely broken, Guy Leach. The front end, the tyre, gone. He's limping back on 3 wheels and broken steering, and that will not be a pleasant experience for him, especially in the rain, and especially for Ryan Jones, who's trying to get past him, and he's just going to smash into every wall he has to get himself pointed straight and back to the pit lane if he can limp it back, Dan.
It's right turns pretty much all the way back from where he was, and the car won't turn right at any meaningful speed. So even this pit entry here is going to be, well, very, very slow. And it's already slow enough by...
Bang.
Oh yeah, okay. Actually, that's actually worked. It's bounced him off the outside of the final turn and back towards where he wants to go. So sacrifice the car now and take advantage of the fact you can fix the car up now in the pit stop.
And it is still tipping down there in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. The streets... moderately wet, 17 degrees on track, 18 ambient, northerly winds, 21 kilometres an hour. That's doing nothing to get rid of the rain at the moment. It's 5:15 in the afternoon, and Kurt Chapman trying to get by Rocky Permis and Chris Henn. Some parts of this racetrack, you've got a little bit more real estate left and right, a bit more width to the circuit, but then other parts, it's a one-line groove. It's a real goat track. Tight and narrow. See you later, Adam Hayne from Aidan Kale. Yeah, good to have you on board, mate. I agree. He's gone. He's checked out. 14.81 seconds to the good for HTS Racing. Purvis.
He's hit the wall somewhere.
He has. He might be limping back to pit lane at this rate as well, Dan.
Yeah, he's already called it in over the radio that he's going to get this thing back to the pits. It's actually still looking somewhat driverless watching because its left front that's taking a hit.
And as you can see there, he's got the mechanical black flag next to his name on the totem pole as well. So that's a fair indicator. I was going to say, going back to finish the Formula V point, we have had to send out a few free referrals to Amplifon for producers in years gone by. Whoa, he's been turned around!
That's Chapman.
Or did he turn himself around?
No, it was a
Chapman
touch.
was implicated. And Purvis now blocks the entry of pit lane, reverses out of there, and then crosses the control line. Hopefully, he won't wear the wrath of that from the iRacing powers that be. Ryan Jones has gone fastest lap of the race, 1:47.507. It's all happening here.
Yeah, and Chapman trying to get into the pit lane has Ryan Jones around at exit of turn 1, backwards.
The fastest lap of the race too.
So in all of that there, Chapman went to go for the pit lane in behind Purvis, has gotten a black flag, I presume, for an unsafe entry, which is kind of, I thought, hard to do here, given it's not really defined, I didn't think, with the way you had to get into the pits. But there was definitely a bit of contact from Kurt Chapman, who was behind Purvis at the point that they tried to go around the final turn there and at least Purvis get into the pit lane. And probably what's going to be quite damning to Race Control after the fact, because I don't think we've got Race Control live for these cars tonight, is that that was signalled at least 3 times on the lap by Purvis, including before the final corner, to indicate he'd be slow, and that hasn't done much to avoid an incident.
No, not at all. Ryan Jones on the comeback trial for the second time tonight. He goes down on the inside of Chapman now. They're side by side of the battle for 10. And I wonder if Jonesy's doing the double here. I'll be interested to see if he's on grid here for the Chicago Super Sprint in the Trophi.AI Supercars very shortly. Oh, geez, that's hairy, boys. Get it through. Get it straightened up. That's the way. It's a one-line groove through there.
Chapman.
Oh, Chapman! Aquaplaning. Jones and Chapman. How'd they keep it off the wall and through to clean up the pieces? Was Braden Segasser again. Podium on Monday night in the Formula 3s. And now, sitting pretty. Having already stopped as well. In 10th position. Dale Sharp goes to 5th because Kurt Chapman comes to pit lane. Jones and Chapman are in. Oh, sorry, no, Jones and Brookfield are in, I should say. Chapman, of course, having already stopped. Actually, actually, that's interesting because I thought Chapman went in earlier, but it's not registering that he has been into pit lane.
It's because he only took his drive-through penalty that he picked up on trying to pit.
Copy. Yeah. So that's going to ruin his night. Takes him right out of contention. Well picked up by you because I actually thought the unsafe entry was for Purvis because he was blocking the pit entry, but it wasn't. Supercar's up next. Yes, agreed with that. Wow, that's a save by Chapo. It was until it wasn't. And Will Buchanan in here to support Kurt Chapman as well. Now, I should point out, and I don't know if my producer knows this yet or not, but he's looking for a new co-pilot for next Wednesday night because I've obviously got round 2 commitments with the Porsche Pro Invitational, so that'll take out Chapman and a few others out of the mix here. They'll be over there buying their trade. And that's, of course, coming to you from Spa next Wednesday night. So looking forward to that. Ryan Jones as well. So there will be a couple less names on the grid next Wednesday night. We have 2 rounds that clash, unfortunately, throughout the course of the term. And I think it's the same for the Supercar Pro Invitational through the same period. Which will rub Jonesy out for 4 of them. So he's here just to have some fun, have a fang, when he's not obviously committed to the other series, plural. And I'm a little bit disappointed actually, Dan, with all the scheduling, the fact that we are a 52-week-a-year sport. We still somehow managed to clash with State of Origin 1 with the Porsche Pro Invitational. I'm not sure how. So that'll be one of those nights where I'm going to try and avoid spoiler alerts and maybe watch it after the fact.
Right. Yes, unfortunately for me, well, I say unfortunate, it's just simply a pure case of the fact that as a southerner, relatively speaking, that particular football code has never really quite clicked for me. Bit of a patriotic Melburnian, shall we say.
You'll be just happy to have some football back in town this week after everyone buggered off to the City of Churches last week. I don't know why it doesn't happen more often with sim racing in Oz is the question regarding the interclub challenges. I guess it all comes down to scheduling. I mean, we only have 12 weeks off a year. And by the time we get to December, Dan, we're all absolutely shagged. So we're pretty happy to put the tools down and walk away for 6 weeks. And we know some clubs are a lot busier than us. But 40 weeks a year seems to be the right sort of mix. I'd be all for it if there was room to wriggle and move in the schedule, and there doesn't seem to be at the moment.
And at the end of the day, also the fact, as the way I'd put it in my perspective is that the reason we have different leagues is because there are people with different ideas about how to run these things. So
correct.
The fact we have a cross-league competition in the form of AOWN, and to be honest, it's one of the few that I can even think of that still functions, because most leagues they're doing their own thing, and you don't really see that kind of mingling in anything else, to my knowledge. If there's something out there and I haven't kept up with it, please get me informed, at least just to keep my sort of understanding of where the community is currently at up to scratch. But yeah, when you've got a league like this that is running 40 weeks a year, we don't have a ton of time to be able to do more stuff without asking more of the club. And as you pointed out there, we've got our broadcast team, for one, is pretty multitasking, and therefore currently a little short on hands at times.
There we are. Well, I mean, take the commentary booth as an example at the moment. We're trying to find a couple of extra resources, a couple of extra humans to help out with Friday Night Motorsport. I mean, I've put my hand up, whoa, into the wall. So that was 10th place. That was Chris Hen, having only just gone to pit lane that last time through. We are on lap 12. He pitted at the end of lap 11. He got hustled and bustled and shuffled out by Brad Keck. A combined round would be the answer to that. Yeah, but again, different series, different points matrix, and it would be a cluster for the analytics and the calculators among us, like Adam Lavis, I guess, to crunch the championship points accordingly after that.
Gary Cousins has found the wall, and he joins the group of drivers with a left front that's stowed in. At least once in this race, so he's going to now be slow and struggle to steer right. Back to the pits.
I guess the only way you would go about it is if you had it into Club Challenge, where it wasn't specifically the AOWN. It was still a 4-time-a-year thing, but everyone went with a series in which they were contesting through that particular term, which would put the 86s on the table maybe once a year, you know, and then obviously Super Formula Light in another term, and then you'd have to find 2 other cars that the respective codes have in common. It would become a little bit more challenging in which to wrangle the boys from FDL into the mix there because of what that stands for and what their specialties are. But certainly with the Toyota 86s and the GT3s and other things, you've got common ground with a lot of other leagues around the country. So it's a good talking point. It's nice to have a bit of on-air banter and discussion about it so early in the new term. Gives us plenty of time to take it to the drawing board and take it to the round table and openly discuss it before we plot anything any further and plan going forward. The interesting thing for mine here is and the other thing too, Dan, as you know, just to finish on this point and then press on with the racing at hand, the great aspect of the AOWN is that there's also good camaraderie with all 3 clubs in the sense that some of our guys, oh no, into the wall and gone. That's a massive shunt. That's Sam Chapman. That car is toast. It's done. He's not going anywhere except on the tow rope on the way back to pit lane. Now, Chris Hen's also been implicated in that, so too Braden Sagasa. What on earth unfolded there? My goodness. I'll come back to that point in a moment, Dan. Let's just focus on this for the moment. Wowee.
What I'm hearing is that what Chapman's saying is that he's had some kind of hardware problem. He completely froze up on the run over the hill there into T7, and that's what's caused him to go basically fly off the road. And
technical issues in the sim world are the mechanical issues in the real world, aren't they? Watch this. Dang. Yeah. Poor old Braden's collateral and all of that, but as you say, that is nothing more than he's had a technical itch, and we saw Brett Bradbury and somebody else have it the other night. When you lose the screen or you lose the control and everything is taken out of your possession, in terms of you lose all ability to operate it, that's the end result. So that's unfortunate for Chapman. Takes him out of business. We know that he's only got 7 rounds at his disposal this term anyway. Well, that's 7 now because this would have been number 8. But he'll be, of course, occupied with the Porsche Pro Invitational next week and, of course, at the end of May. So he now is in a very precarious position here, Dan, because he needs to go out and try to make the most of the other 7 rounds if he wants to factor in the championship equation, and that's not an easy task.
No, not at all. Even the fact that you have an entire round where you're not going to have a drop round to save you through this absence, and as you alluded to briefly, the revisions to the points schematic, which I can see why we've done it. I do think, though, that it being a universal, and I get why also it's a universal system too, it just makes life easier for points calculations. But to me, it then basically, it nukes any ability to have a competitive season if you care about that. If you miss more rounds than the drop rounds permit you to have. So there is that side effect. Cause. I guess it should be acknowledged. I'm sort of the opinion that with the point scheme, you should try if you can.
Yeah.
You've got to sort of tailor to how many cars you think you're going to get. But when we're running 6 days a week of racing,
yes,
that is the other half of the logistics issue.
Correct.
That runs into the face of being like, oh, but I'd love to be able to tailor it to exactly what we need here with a 20-odd car grid. It seems to kick this off, and maybe it gets up to 30 some weeks.
Let's do some housekeeping with what's going on track at the moment. As you can see, mechanical black flags there for Guy Leach, Braden Sagassa. Sam Chapman's still in the server, and I have a feeling I know what that will be about, and I hope he can get out there and at least get classified at 75% race distance, because again, with the points going all the way down there, being a bit more at the disposal, you need to take anything you can cling on to tonight. But there's also been a couple of, I missed it there on the totem pole, folks. I saw it and then it disappeared. So somebody's had a drive-through penalty black flag for incident points as well in all that. Kurt Chapman. So one Chapman in the mechanical woes and the other in the naughty books. The Chapmans are having a great night tonight, and there's no connection relation-wise, ladies and gentlemen. We've been through that before. Sam Chapman, the mechanical issues of the real world correlate to the tech issues of the sim world. Talk us through it from your standpoint, please.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, I've never had that before, but I went into the corner and hit the brakes, and the accelerator stayed on. The brakes didn't go on at all, which is really useful going into that corner. So I did my best to dodge Braden ahead, but the bounce back was pretty aggressive at full throttle going into that tyre wall, so I think he still got caught up, unfortunately. Yes, we'll have to work out what's happening there. Not ideal.
Well, that's exactly right, mate. Are you going to be able to sort it out now, or are you going to have to park this thing?
I'll probably park it. I probably can't make most Wednesdays, or at least some Wednesdays, so I'm not too worried on the points front. So I think we'll probably park it for tonight. So just disappointing because it was fun. We earned a black flag early on. It's very, very easy to earn black flag, hence,
Stephen Bull. just 1 second here, Chapo. I'm coming back to you. Stephen Bull has gone through because Brad Keck's had a moment, and Kecky's in all sorts of trouble. That's another suspension broken. Wowee. The Toyota repair factory is going to get its work cut out for it tonight. Have a look at this.
That was
just
what we
gone
just
straight
saw.
on. It was before that. Was there contact, or was this Keck all on his own? Stephen Bull and Brad Keck. Have a look at them side by side. Down to the braking zone. He's out in no man's land there, Keck, and he's too wide into the corner. He's okay on the exit though.
So it was up here because it's
managed
turn
to gather
6.
it up.
I've gone back too far. Sorry.
That's all right. No, you're right, mate. All good. Turn 6. Let's have a look on the brakes. Will it be inside or outside? Will it be just too deep into the corner? Will it be spin? Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, it's a spin, and it's broken the right rear in the process. It's a light bit of contact, but it's enough to do the job. Chapo, my count, and I know this because I had to flag it with the organisers here at the GSRC, our valued committee members, Mr. Heaney, Mr. Lavis, Mr. Zuna. I had to flag it with them. I said, boys, I'm happy to go around, do 3-4 nights a week if necessary this term. And the reason, and I'll come back to the reason why 4 nights is potentially an option a little bit later on. Again, we'll get through the housekeeping as the night plays out. I flagged that next week and the last Wednesday of May, State of Origin 1, are the 2 nights that I can't do because they're the 2 rounds that are Porsche Pro Invitational Wednesdays. So at my count, you're only going to have to drop 2 rounds. Essentially, you're now dropping 3.
Yeah, I think I'm trying not to add too much to the agenda, Zach. I think there's going to be a bit going on Thursdays.
Correct.
So we better prepare for that and hope we don't get this sort of thing. I probably won't prepare for that if we're being honest, but it'll be fun regardless. Hopefully it's a little drier. This is I don't know. This feels like a bit of a play by John Merritt or something for a cheaper Toyota to sell spare parts. It's a crazy combination to get cracking, and these things do get damaged pretty easily. But yeah, hell of a lot of fun though.
So Guy Leach, Braden Sagas are still with you on pit lane, mate. So it looks like we're going to have only 17 finishes out here tonight. We're on lap 18. Adam Hayne is half a minute to the good. I'm rounding up now. We're 80% race distance. We've just gone 32 minutes of 40. And at the current speed, we're looking good for as Hayne will come through here. A minute 48, 3:35, 7:10. Okay, so we're looking good as Hayne comes through here for potentially 5, but at least 4 laps to go in this race. Should we see a 5th lap, we're probably looking at overtime. But Hayne's coming through now onto the main straight across the start-finish line. Yeah, it's touch and go. It's going to be very close to a 5th lap. And if that is the case, it'll be by the skin of his teeth. But considering that the times have slowed and diminished, I dare say we're looking at 4 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen, for Adam Hayne, because there's your 7-minute marker now, which is, if it was a minute 45, 3:30, that's fine. 3:30 and 2 is 7. But because it was closer to 1 minute 49, you carry that over, that extra 4 seconds a lap, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
So
actually, that's exactly right. So good pickup from you, Chapo. You wouldn't have been too impressed, I wouldn't have thought, when you looked at the sub-regs and realised that there are CPS requirements in the entree slot on a Wednesday night this term.
Of course, we'll be putting these rules in on entree slots for. It's silly. Anyway, no. What was better yet is despite the guy calling ahead, I'm going to pit. Get spun going into pit lane and gives me my final X for a drive-through. So instead of actually pitting, I decided I had to do my drive-through.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yes.
When it rains, it pours.
And boy, is it pouring, Zach. So.
Oh yeah.
But no, it's good. I mean, it's just a very tough track to to get overtakes done under the best of times, and you're going to have a few biffs and barges back and forth, and some of them come up with a 4X and some of them come up with a 0X.
Oh, Adam Lavis under pressure from Darren Lobb. This is a live battle for second on the racetrack. They've still got a pit. In fact, so too Dale Sharp, Cullen Hodgkinson and Stephen Bull. So it is 3 to go at the line because you've got that pit stop to take into consideration. In comes Adam Hayne on that note. He could get a slow down, stop and hold right now and still win the race. That's how far ahead he is. He's in a different postcode.
Rain does that.
It's an absolute smashing. It's a drubbing to start the term from him. Can he keep it up? Oh, Lockie Purvis. Getting too well acquainted with Richard Brookfield on that occasion. Chapo, has it sunk in yet that you're a 3-time AOWN champion after that extraordinary turnaround in fortune at the Bend a fortnight ago?
Well, I'm not quite sure. Some of the boys take the piss out of me. But it's, I don't know, maybe you need to get back in an open wheeler to get my spirits back up again. But yes, no, it was
that's what tomorrow night's for.
We love a surprise victory, not to be tonight, but we love it. We love a little sneaky victory. So yes, very, very happy with that. It was only 2 weeks ago, goodness me.
Yeah, I know, what's happened in that time, hasn't it? Unbelievable. I mean, for starters, our friends in Queensland have seen in the new year. So, yeah, I know, it's about time we arrived in 2026. I've been to Bega and back. My little nephew's turned 1. There's been a lot going on in a very short period of time. I'm going to go back to Ipswich on Saturday night, Sunday morning, and I'm going to need a week off. We took a 2-week break from the GSRC, but we just have not stopped. It's been extraordinary. Adam Lavis third at the moment. These guys still not willing to stop. So the margin to Adam Hayne is now only 9.5 seconds, but I dare say that's going to balloon out quite significantly in the next few moments. So Hayne, Lobb, Lavis, Sharp, Hodgkinson and Hen. Hen the second best placed of anyone that was stopped so far. A lot of these guys left it early, but for the benefit of those that left it late, there's not too much difference in any of this. There is a mechanical black flag, however, for Richard King. He's just lost out to Ryan Jones.
Well, you don't actually have to
and Chapman. Well, that's right. They're still stuck on pit lane, so you guys aren't going to be classified on 75% because there's only 2 laps to go, and that means 22. So 22 minus a half is 11, 5.5, 16 and a half laps. You would have had to have completed 17. So anyone down to Joel and Hanson is good. Everybody else in a bit of strife as far as classification is concerned tonight.
And no, they had 4 laps to the good, 4 litres to the good on fuel as well, just given the conditions. So there's not going to be actually any fuel games or anything going on in pit lane. It is just making sure that you stop at your box.
So again, another element that really doesn't work in your favour either.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
You love it when there's a fuel game. Oh no! Into the wall goes Lockie Purvis, and Purvis is done. Purvis joins the growing casualty list. The casualty ward on pit lane. And through there goes Dale Sharp to complete. He's stopped as well! And that's Richard Brookfield live into the wall!
Got him turned round.
And he had a mechanical black flag to his name anyway. So that explains that in a bit more detail. Actually, it's been quite crafty tonight the way you blokes have used that outside left wall to your advantage to bounce you back onto the inside to the right-hand side to get into pit lane. It's the only way you can do it when your suspension and steering is broken. Look at that. Beautiful. Some might call it cheating. I call it craft. It's good.
Not cheating? What's cheating about that? What rule does that breach?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Using the wall to gain an advantage rather than going off track to gain an advantage.
Look at that as well. 5 meatball flags on track at the moment.
That'd have to be close to a record.
I reckon.
White flag flies. We're on the way home. We're going to get to 22 laps, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Hayne has smashed them. Adam Lavis comes in to complete his compulsory pit stop, and Cullen Hodgkinson will do the same. If he doesn't, he'll wear the RAF of race control after the fact.
I just had someone in the system ask if there was a compulsory stop. I couldn't tell who it was, but they're going to get a rude shock if they don't.
I would say that was Callan Hodgkinson, considering that Adam Lavis knows the rule book back to front.
Oh, I would say so, yes.
There he is, into pit lane he comes now. So the field will be cleansed. We had to wait until the 40th minute to do it. And there goes Adam Lavis back out onto the track side by side with Darren Lobb. They're having at it side by side for second on the final lap, and Lobb's around the outside. Lobb, the South African, will go to second. But it does give Lavis a few corners in which to try and mount a challenge to respond. How about this? Final lap of the gloves are off. It hasn't been your usual slipstreaming affair, your usual demolition type derby. A lot of this has been single vehicle incidents. But right here and now, we've got a live active battle on the track for the last spot on the podium. 29.5 seconds up the road is Adam Hayne. He's into the final sector on the final lap. We hit 40 minutes, we're into overtime, and Lavis still wrestling with the steering wheel. The rain has stopped. The track is still wet. To the last corner comes Adam Hayne. To the main straight comes Adam Hayne. HTS Racing on top in week 1 of term 2 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. A distinctly different looking HTS Racing entry that Adam Hayne has absolutely blistered tonight. And as Chapo said, from pole to victory, the fastest lap of the race in the final lap. Maximum points or thereabouts for Adam Hayne. And Darren Lobb looks like he's going to do another thing and get it through the final corner cleanly. Have a look at this. Lobb will hold off Lavis by less than half a second. For second. Lavis in for third. Good to see him back on the podium. He'll be right there with you tomorrow night, Chapo. I'm looking forward to that. Chris Hen, Ryan Jones, Dale Sharp, Stephen Bull, Richard King, Brad Keck, Callan Hodgkinson, and then Gary Cousins and Kurt Chapman. That makes up the top 12. Many of them are still limping their way to the line. Sharpie under pressure from Stephen Bull on the run to the line. But Bull's going to run out of time. That was all right in the end. I enjoyed that. Oh, no. Kurt Chapman's got a black flag on the final lap, so there comes the post-race penalty. Don't mind the growling puppy dogs in the background, ladies and gentlemen. I am broadcasting to you from Cessnock tonight from Mum and Dad's. And we've got 2 pups that don't mind a duel each and every night of the week about this time.
Oh.
So,
I was looking out for a second.
Trouble on the final lap.
And it's cleaned up our race winner in the process.
And that's the point. I didn't get to make that point because all hell broke loose. We're a little bit tight for time off the top. But there is evidence there with Brett Barker.
Kurt, no.
And also Guy Leach. No, Kurt, what are you doing? Kurt, no. No, you don't go into pit lane to serve a drive-through on the final lap. You get absolutely crucified. Oh, no. Difficult night for Kurt Chapman. Tough night behind the wheel. He's going to plummet down the order. Brett Barker comes through in 13th position. Kurt was showing a lap down, but that's because I think iRacing's chucked a wobbly when he's come down pit lane on that final lap. Oh dear. Joel Hansen, Chris Bleakley, Richard Brookfield, Lockie Purvis, they ended from down in pit lane and they will be classified on 75%. What the hell? Good to see, boys. Comment from both of you on this, and we've got the Supercars coming up at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time from the same venue. So that's another point of difference. Like Monday night with the GT3 starting at 8:30, I was wondering what the music was for a moment, and then I remembered we're on broadcast. Sorry, I got thrown by that. I was like, did I not leave my phone on silent? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Like what we have on Monday night, everything's 15 minutes earlier at the end of the night as well. So the Formula V will lead into the Porsches tomorrow night. Porsche will be from 8:45, and the Supercars as well from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, not 9 p.m. as it was during Term 1, and will be again during Term 4. There it is for you. Chapman only got relegated to 13th in all of that, but with a plus of 2.26 for a lap and 40 seconds on the race winner, Adam Hayne. So he loses out to Brett Barker in the end. And that is it. So Adam Hayne, Darren Lobb, Adam Lavis, Chris Hen, Ryan Jones, Dale Sharp, Stephen Bull, Richard King and Brad Keck with Callan Hodgkinson making up the top 10. And there's nothing close about that except the battle for second. Only 0.4 of a second in the end covered Adam Lavis and Darren Lobb. Great racing to get the new term underway in the 86s, and they'll be hoping for a dry run next week. Comment from both of you before we pick a few other things apart here, and I'm hoping a couple of the drivers might swing by for a chat, but they're probably trying to recover from the bruising and the battering they've just copped before they line up in the supercars. Going to you first, Chapo. Great to see the Toyotas back in business. Shame to not be on track, but I do need the money, says Kurt Nommensen. Yeah, chiming in live from work, I'd say, is Kurt tonight. But in saying all of that, boys, really good racing. A statement message from Adam Hayne. He's obviously... sorry, I'm going to have to clear this right in a moment. He's obviously got a distinctly different look to the HGS Toyota to what we've seen in the past. That was not his usual sticker kit tonight. We'll find out more on that shortly. But Chapo, the 86s never disappoint, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table right across the campaign. Unfortunately, you can't be out there and involved in all of it, but at the same time, nice to be able to go about it knowing you're not in championship contention, and you can just go out there and think about each race as an individual effort and have some fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And these cars are great fun to race. We've got like a pretty good group of guys, particularly in that sort of front 10 as well, that will all be pretty quick and we'll be there when the whip's cracking. So, yeah, I think this could make for a really, really fun season. You know, hopefully these fields keep up. You know, 23 odd is a decent enough size. Given the conditions and the track, that's probably a decent showing. But the 86s bring people out. It's a car that a lot of people drive and know how to drive and that race really well side by side. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping in where I can this season. And, yeah, I think particularly those sprint rounds will be a lot of fun.
I'm a little bit disappointed, actually. We do miss the first sprint round of the term next week at Virginia International Raceway, as we do remind everybody of... I know, yeah. The rest of the season and the schedule there, Dan does have it up on screen. I've got it here in front of me as well. VIR, then on to Long Beach for sprint racing. Back to Coda onto the NASCAR West configuration. Supercar's doing the same thing. Then to St. Petersburg, the newest venue in the server. Then to Brands Hatch for sprint racing. St. Petersburg, just an out-and-out 40-minute race. Rode Atlanta for 40 minutes, rode America for sprint racing. So that's interesting there because I probably would have gone the other way around. Detroit, Belle Isle, Michigan for sprint racing, and Mount Panorama Bathurst for super sprint racing. Now, June 17, that's the same night as State of Origin 2. I will advise you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want me going around the grounds that night, just put us on mute. Watch the State of Origin with noise and us on mute because I will be going around the grounds quite frequently that night. With an invested interest, of course, being from one of the rugby league states. But that's a good calendar. Very American heavy, boys. I mean, only 2 stops outside of the United States, they being Brands Hatch and Mount Panorama. But to have a difference in formats week in, week out, keeps everybody on their toes, doesn't it?
Yeah, very American, and a few tracks where there could be a bit of carnage. I mean, Long Beach, we know. Coda, that NASCAR West circuit has bits and pieces of that too. You know, and obviously Detroit has a bit of that, and Bathurst too. I was wondering whether they would go for the sort of the full street race venue and put the best track on there. Adelaide is round 10, but that's all right. You know, you can't get it all right.
Settle, Chapo, settle.
But yeah, no, it looks like a really good calendar. I reckon that'll be a lot of fun for the guys.
Dan, is there part of you that wishes you could be out there in the thick of it?
Oh, funny you say that. I've got my guys insisting I get a bit of wheeling and dealing done at some point in my life would be nice, other than the random bit of driving I've done, which was the SFL last season. And I guess hypothetically could be the F3 on Monday nights to keep that sort of trend going. And not so much the 86s. It was sort of more about inclined to get me behind the wheel of the V8 Supercar, much to my amusement when this idea was floated amongst my guys.
Don't listen to him.
So at this stage, it looks like I'm going to be contained here to the comms box. And end of the day, an American heavy schedule, while it is a little unusual compared to what we see, it does reflect the nature that I'd probably say of most tracks on the surface, the American tracks generally do sort of work for what the supercar sort of likes, if you will, and also a case of like what we're used to seeing when it comes to a mixture of street and smaller but still good racing potential for both supercar. And I think also the 86 too will be a pretty happy car around most of these tracks.
Indeed. Now, let's fast forward, because for some reason, Chapo, you're the only one that's inclined or interested in coming and having a chat with Yeaman and I tonight. And we have got 25 minutes before the supercars get underway, folks. So we may as well pad for a little bit here and take a break at the bottom of the hour, top of the hour where you are, Chapo. The supercar schedule follows exactly what you see there, ladies and gentlemen. There may be a slight difference in the track configurations and whatever the case may be, but for the most part, lock, load, stock and barrels. So we're looking forward to that. There it is. Coda West still for the fourth round, so not using the Grand Prix layout there. And also, of course, when you look at the Toyota 86s, very difficult, I would say, to, like the Legends, Chapo, put them on those shorter configurations. You might have entertained it at somewhere like Brands Hatch, put them on the Indy configuration, but, I mean, certainly not at VIR, because that long circuit is nice and open and flowing. Long Beach has only got one. St. Petersburg's only got one. Road America, Bathurst, Detroit, they've all only got one configuration. So it's going to be very much what you see in Heat 1 or Part 1 of the night is what you're going to see in Part 2, with the exception of maybe the variables like weather conditions and race formats.
Yeah, I'd say so. These do perform pretty well on longer layouts. That they bump draft all right. You can. I actually once did a race around the full Nürburgring with these cars, which is an interesting experience. But they perform well on most layouts as far as actual good racing is concerned. Obviously, on the longer ones, you probably want to make sure you're in the tow. But even then, you know, in the Constantina and that sort of thing, and you've usually got someone who wants to go racing and slow up the pack, yeah, I think that will all be good. And, you know, as I said last season, I reckon it's nice to have a lead in on the same track, going from one to the other, whether it's the same or different configuration. I think it's nice to keep that theme together for the night.
Indeed it is. Supercar racing, super sprint format from here on the streets of Chicago in 23 minutes time. Before that, let's talk Formula V. Let's talk tomorrow night. We're very excited about the term that awaits us here, Sam Chapman. You mentioned getting yourself caught up in incidents earlier and seeing a black flag. You'll be hoping to avoid that tomorrow night, but at the same time, you can expect plenty of slicing and dicing, plenty of dueling, drafting, maybe a little bit of hip and shoulder, but you've got to be very careful with how you go about that, because open wheelers don't play as kindly with car-to-car contact as the tin tops do, and you've found that a few times in the past. Yeah,
indeed. Actually, I haven't checked the format of the races. I
Super Sprint every week.
Super Sprint, reverse grids.
I'm not sure about the reverse grids, but I'll find that out tomorrow night. Yeah.
I'll have a bit of a gaze. But yeah, yeah, sure. That sounds like it'll be fine. Yeah, like you've just. Yeah, there's a risk management that goes with these. You know, in many ways, they don't race that similar to something like the Legends, except the Legends don't die every time you touch wheels. So it's you know, it's a different. You know, you've got to be a little bit more careful, and when there's that many cars around, that can be a bit difficult. Last V season I had was really clean, and I was really happy with it. I just decided to go on excursion at the end, which caused problems. But yeah, hopefully we can bring forward that cleanliness into this V season. But you know, that can also be a little bit luck of the draw as well. You don't quite know how someone's going to react, and it's not always You know, sometimes you're stuck between two guys, or you know, someone comes up and you've got nowhere to go. 3 wide, 4 wide's not that uncommon. So, yeah, you got to manage the risk, but sometimes you just get caught up. So fingers crossed, and hopefully we get a really big field out there tomorrow. I reckon it's, you know, we're on the same playbook that we reckon it's the best racing that you can get out there and the best fun that you can have out there.
Correct.
So get out there and support it.
And in this particular instance, just because they lack the top end on the speed front doesn't mean they're not worth the price of admission. The entertainment value of the racecraft is where Formula V entertains tens of thousands of people right around the world. We're looking forward to what might unfold tomorrow night. So the auto driver Hermanos Rodriguez, the Formula E configuration of that circuit will be in use for Formula V. Invert top 10 for 2 for race 2. Invert top 15 for race 3. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time will be getting things underway. Matt Schmidtke's going to be with me for the entree tomorrow night, or what I like to refer to as the main course, which means that Andrew Neil is going to jump in and bring you dessert in the form of the Porsche Cup from the same venue. And again, that is a 40-minute race from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. So my understanding is there's going to be a driver change, a baton change, but that also means a broadcast channel change. So for viewers in New South Wales, Victoria and Tasmania, stand by for 7 News, that sort of thing, to continue watching the Formula V or the GSRC action, switch over to 7 Mate, that sort of thing. It'll just be clicking a different YouTube link, ladies and gentlemen. So that'll be where we're going tomorrow night. And then, of course, the World Endurance Championship GSRC equivalent on Friday night. Of course, Real World getting underway this weekend as well. They're also heading to the Imola circuit, as are we, for a 75-minute race, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If we are going live, it'll be from 8:25. That's if we've got a broadcast going, and I'm still none the wiser with regards to that. And that depends on who's available maybe to produce and direct on the night, and whether I'm available or not to commentate. I have put my hand up and said I'm available for everything except weeks 6 and 10 due to karting New South Wales commitments, but it depends on very much whether or not we've got someone available to pick up the freight, because Joe Baldwin's currently in the middle of a house change, a house swap, and with that comes getting things like the internet connected up, and of course Liam Banks, one of our committee members here. Amazing, he's available for the committee, but not for commentary. He's off to the local Broadway there in South Australia. So keep an eye on the greatest showman of South Australia in the next short while. He's involved in a play over there for the next 10 weeks. So we'll have him back in the commentary box at some point, but it won't be this term. And that's everything that's coming away. The Formula V schedule, Chapo, let me get your thoughts. Kurt Normanson's just slid into the inbox and let me know, informed me that he's got a new car, by the way. So we look forward to hearing more about that from Kurt later. Chapo, the Formula V schedule, let me run this by you. Mexico City Formula E, Alton Park, Summit Point, the MIA Loop of Miami, which we had some cracking legend car races on, the Nürburgring, Tsukuba, Brands Hatch, on the GP layout, Barber Motorsport Park, Willow Springs, that'll be a beauty, and what a way to finish it off at the Bend with the Super Sprint there on the West configuration as well. So we've got some really good tracks to look forward to, but we've got a couple of interesting selections as well. But one thing's the same with Formula V. The product's great wherever you go. We've even had some cracking racing on the circuits that you probably wouldn't expect it from. I mean, if you were to take a GT3 to Summit Point or Tsukuba, it'd be absolute bedlam. But everywhere else, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's an interesting set of tracks. It's probably missing some of the classics that I might have chucked in, but like
Phillip Island, for instance.
PI is a classic of it. Villeneuve's probably another classic for the V's as well.
Mm-hmm. They're all good.
Detroit actually as well. Is bridging in them when you're not dead. But yeah, I mean, I've not done. I don't think this EV circuit, so that'll be an interesting test. But yeah, like Alton Park, Summit Point, that'll get people comfortable with tracks they already know. That MIA loop, I mean, I was pretty rubbish there, so I'm not so sure about that one, but we'll see. Tsukuba, that's just that'll be, you actually have to put on a move there, which will be different to other places to an extent. You know, you might actually have to stick the nose in a bit more rather than relying a bit more on slipstream. Brands Hatch always puts on unreal racing, so I'll look forward to that. Barber as well will be wonderful. And finishing in Casa de Shahin. So, hopefully that's a nice way to finish, as it was, for the Precinct Open Wheel Nationals, Zach. Hopefully it's a happy finish.
Well, that's exactly right. The West configuration at Casa de Shahin is without doubt the best of the 17 different configurations you've got over there. Summit Point is going to be great. I agree. We took Formula V and I think even Toyota 86 racing there in the past, and it was magnificent. Looking forward to that. I think John Merritt pipped somebody by 1,000th of a second there in Formula V, maybe even Formula Ford. So it is a great little racetrack for those cars. Righto, gentlemen. 8:30 is upon us. I think it's our cue to take a break. Chapo, you've been very good with your time as always. Thanks for stopping on by. Are you jumping in the supercar or not?
No, mate. No, I've got self-respect, so no, that's a lie. But I won't be jumping in the supercar. That's that. I think that's enough for one night.
Right, we've got that on the record, and we're gonna clip that and play it back to you at some point. I've got self-respect was the quote from Sam Chapman. If you didn't hear it previously, ladies and gentlemen, 6:30 on the West Coast, 10:30 in New Zealand, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Hope you're enjoying our coverage of Wednesday Night Motorsport. The Toyota 86s continue next week. And they continue from the Virginia International Raceway. I obviously won't be in a position to bring it to you because of my commitments with the Porsche Pro Invitational. But someone will be here in my place alongside Dan Yeaman. If not, he'll give you the best of both worlds, ladies and gentlemen, with the direction and the commentary. We've got the supercars from here in just a few moments' time with a 3-race super sprint format. And it's a big schedule for them as well because it's the first 2 super sprints for the term. And we're looking forward to that immensely. We are here with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophi.AI, merch.tgsrci.com, and Flash Graphics. Well done to Adam Hayne. He blitzed it in the end, winning by half a minute. Darren Lobb, Adam Lavis fought hard for the final spot on the podium. It went to the South African in the end, but trusty old Mav got his season off to a very good start. Expect him to keep Sam Chapman good company tomorrow night. Whenever they're on the same racetrack, whenever they're in Formula V, they seem to have a habit of finding each other, like magnifying detectors and magnets and everything else metal related. So we're looking forward to seeing what those guys bring to the table tomorrow night. Preserving the voice in readiness for that. I cannot wait for Formula V. It's been a long wait waiting for it to return to the platforms of the GSRC, and we go racing on the Formula reconfiguration of the Mexico City circuit tomorrow night. We take a break at this point. We come back in just a moment with all the action from the opening round of the Trophi.AI Supercar Series. Stay with us. The Chicago Street Circuit is the setting, the playground for the opening doubleheader of Wednesday Night Motorsport in Term 2 of 2026 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube. It is the 25th season for the platforms of the GSRC. I'm pleased to say that I've been here for all 25 of them, and no one more impressed, satisfied, or surprised of the longevity of this magnificent club either. It is terrific to have your company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world. It is heading up towards 8:45 on the eastern seaboard, 7:15 on the west coast. If you're about to watch home and away whilst watching the GSRC side by side in Western Australia, no spoilers please. I haven't watched tonight's episode yet, or last night's for that matter. Dan Yeaman alongside yours truly, Zach Caban. There are the server and weather and track settings. This circuit, 3.41 kilometres. It's one of the new ones. It's one of our favourites. Of course, not being used in the real world this year. NASCAR taking their business elsewhere, with San Diego getting a street race instead of Chicago, hopefully somewhere down the line. I know that some venues have blamed logistics regarding time of year and the World Cup and a few other factors, but hopefully somewhere down the line we see this back in the real world. But aren't we lucky at the same time, Dan, that we've been able to so quickly get it into circulation in the sim world? Because whether you love or loathe street circuits, this one's pretty good.
Yeah, Zach, it's, divisive in some respects. Some may say simple with the fact that it's pretty much two rectangles and fused together with a pair of back-to-back 90-degree corners. But that ignores all of the elements that go into a street circuit. The fact we've also got elevation change to get over that massive central concourse of railway tracks there, which is actually just in and under our overlays here right now. But if we actually pull them away from the screen, you'll see them. They're running pretty much dead center through our shot now, that rise over. Then the bend around the fountain section at the bottom of Grant Park there from this blimp angle. Also another challenging component to add in, that medium speed cornering and a little rise there too from this outside shot of that exact point of the circuit as well, Zach. So simple, yet also an element of complexity baked right into this one here.
Indeed, and we're lining up already for Heat 1. So 15 minutes for Heat 1, 20 for Heat 2, 35 for Heat 3, and Super Sprint format and rules in play, ladies and gentlemen, meaning invert top 8 for the second heat and invert top 12 for the third. We get 2 super sprints in this season. We'll delve into that in more detail a little bit later on. James Scott will be Cannon front row. Sam Blacklock, Lachlan Cable second row. Good to see a few of Mr. Yeaman's teammates out there. Ryan Jones, Bradley Radu from row 3. Oh, that'll be good. Those two have got had their battles in the past. Cannot wait to see how this plays out. Sam Cullen, Johnny Baddock from 4. Terry Marsh and Blake Fitz from 5. From 6, it's Connor Nixon and good to see Craig Bond back on the platforms of the GSRC. It's been a while. From row 7, Andy Barber and Jason Douglas. From 8, it's Luke Page and Ryan Barber. From 9, Alex Tzikis and Nicola Zubcic. From 10, Dane Snadden and Daniel Snedden. Oh, that's good. Snadden and Snedden on the same row. That's not confusing at all. Trent Allen and Greg Heaney from 11. Ross Armour alongside Jackson Sufong on row 12. Adam Lavis, Martin Lipsky from 13. JD Denton, Dale Sharp from 14. And then Jake Cowman. And the hero of the Toyota 86 server, albeit in far very different conditions. Adam Hayne from row 15 from position number 30. And Mark McNamara is the only one that hasn't joined us on the grid as yet. So expect some fast-paced action, but expect some attrition and drama as well, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Chicago Street Circuit. It is a concrete canyon. Drama awaits. Excitement awaits. A brand new season of Trophi.AI Supercar action awaits on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And it's great to see the defending champion lining up on this grid. It's great to see AITX running out in the front row and Logitech G, Orbit Drop their Motorsport the second. We are away, lining up the tyres early with Randy Ratu. Sam Cullen's made a blind on the start. They're 4 wide further back in the pack. Let's wait and see what Carter Jump holds in turn 1. Can we get through cleanly? Hold your breath. There's a couple rubbing the wall further back in the pack, but so far so good. Cleanly out of turn 2. 3 barbers are there, giving Tzikas a run for his money. James Scott leads from the front. Connor Nixon on starter, so too Mark McNamara. We're down to 29 already. The first of 3 for the night, 15 minutes this opening heat. Down the back chute. The recovery vehicles parked up on your left, driver's right. So far, I'm amazed, Dan Yang, at how clean it's been.
Ticking the boxes all right so far, yeah. As, well, I didn't quite see this coming. James Scott, very much nominally racing with the Chiefs Esports Club. Agreeing to run with the boys here at AITX Revolution E Racing, I believe, for this season, because that would be quite the shift, which I would think I would have seen announced elsewhere, had this been something more than a club-specific drop-in. But we'll have to find out, or at least hopefully we can find out after all the racing action, some more around this particular agreement that appears to be in place here between AITX and Mr. Scott, as himself, Buchanan, Blacklock and Capel, your top 4 breakaway with Ryan Jones trying to keep up with Sam Cullen as well as making the top 6 as then it's a big old gap behind them. Actually, there you go, confirmation from I think Greg Brooks there in the chat for a second, that one there. It's
yes.
An informal agreement.
On your Brooksy, my other question was going to be, but then I kind of second-guessed myself because I thought, well, the pace would suggest that it is the same James Scott, but I was going to ask the question if there was 2 James Scotts out there.
The 088 also was a bit of a telltale for me.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, you know, there's 27 million people in the country. It's not uncommon to see people with the same name popping up from time to time. But no, just a friendly relationship, which is great to see.
Oh, Bondi!
Bondi's in the wall. This could be trouble too, because he's stranded in the middle of the circuit. Drivers have now got to try and take evasive action. They've done so very cleanly. Bondi hasn't yet even been distracted by the Snapchat that I was sending his way from the booth here to let everybody know that Wednesday Night Motorsport was live and free on the platforms of the GSRC, and trying to keep snap streaks alive for the most part with some people as well. That's all it was for. And Bondi, unfortunately, on his return to the platforms of the GSRC, has fallen foul of that tight right-hander as you head into that C-shaped sweeping left-hander. Let's have a look at the incident here for our Thursday Night Motorsport colleague Johnny Bannock.
Oh, that one.
Yes, he did. Yep.
This explains why there's a big gap. Okay.
Yeah, and it also explains why Bondi's in the wars early. That's 2 incidents now that we've seen. It also explains the front end damage. And he's now getting hip and shouldered there by the 2 barbers as well.
No rear wing for Johnny's diving to the pits and get that fixed up on the bed. And that's why he tumbles, he's down the order. So, indeed, able to catch it on the replay, folks. And yes, it's back to the live racing action. There's plenty of it in the mid-pack here.
Yes, so it's interesting, that point there from Aidan Cale, because I was across that as well. There were a few people who were confused by all of that, me included in the outset, but then I was like, hang on, no, I've got 2 different Rockland Manifs on social media. I'm noticing that they're in 2 different places at the same time. They can't be the same person. The universe hasn't got to that functional point yet of science and technology and other things. And also, former Beauty and the Geek winner and former sim racing commentator in his own right, Lockie Mansell actually had to write the press release out. Oh no, into the wall goes Zubcic. Lavis goes by. Lockie actually had to put a press release out to clarify with the masses that we are actually talking about 2 different Lockie Manifs. And such an anomaly it's not a common surname, is Manif, but to have 2 Lockie Manifs in the world, wow, yeah, quite a bizarre set of circumstances that one was. Not sure what they're up to these days. I know Lockie Manif, the TCR racer, has been carving a path in GT4 and in the Motor Racing Australia 300-kilometre races, both in Sydney and Goulburn. Not sure what the other, the open wheel Lockie Manif has been doing, but yes, that was an amusing time in motorsport circles a couple of years ago. 5 laps in now, ladies and gentlemen. James Scott's just started that 5th lap. Buchanan, Blacklock, Capel all through in behind him, and Scott's got 1.2 on Buchanan, and Blacklock's another 2 seconds back from that. Not exactly a common... Yeah, that's exactly right. Ryan Jones slots into 6th spot. He's got 2 seconds on Bradley Ratu. He's got Blake Fitz for company does Ratu. Zikas and Jason Douglas, the defending Supercar champion, round out the top 10 at the moment. There was a little bit of chatter as to whether or not we'd see him on the grid this term. We are seeing Jason Douglas here to defend his title. So that is good to see. Also good to see things are a little bit tame at the moment in the comments section of this broadcast thread too. So let's hope that remains.
Again, Zach.
No. I was going to say let's hope that remains the case for the next 75 minutes or so. But Scott, Buchanan, Blacklock, Capel, and Cullen, the top 5. Biggest mover so far, Alex Chizikas up 8, Adam Hayne up 15, and Dale Sharp up 10 spots. Invert pole currently being held by Blake Fitz in 8th spot. It is top 8 for race 2. It is top 12 for race 3. And the second race will be 5 minutes longer than the first. And then the combined distance of races 1 and 2, 35 minutes will be the length for race 3. There will be a compulsory pit stop in race 3, if you don't mind. Absolutely. Good to have Aidan Cale and also Brooksy in the chat thread with us tonight. Great to have your company, boys. It was actually, I must say, we know how very poignant and how very sentimental the grand finale in Adelaide was a couple of weeks ago. And we say hello to our good mate Jake Slade, who did message me. Here we go. Oh, geez, that hurts. Bondi, a 25-second penalty, and that was a scrape of the wall for Ryan Jones, I reckon, as well. It's 2 all but drop there, Motorsport entry, keeping each other company. That's Sam Blacklock and Lockie Capel, and behind that, Jonesy in 6th spot at the moment, ahead of his nemesis Bradley Ratu and Blake Fitz, Alex Chizikas, Chase Douglas make up the top 10. Bondi, a 25-second penalty, that will sting, and on the result sheet, that's probably going to drop him down. Let's have a look. Well, it was Johnny Bannack that he got into, so that'll reverse that very nicely for Bannack, but it won't make up for the fact that they're stuck in traffic for the rest of the night. Here they are now, side by side, down the main straight. There's a lot going on here in a very short period of time, folks. Bondi's weaving his way through the development split traffic right now. Daniel Stanton's been on pit road and is back out again after 9.77 seconds. So, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then 35. There are 2 super sprint races in this series this term. And Kurt Normanson saying that he's getting FOMO whilst tuning in from work. He's not out there with the guys at the moment. Hopefully he'll be back on deck shortly. Jake Slade touched base with me over the weekend while I was in Beagle, and I apologise to him because I didn't get to reply to any messages that came in after about 11 o'clock on Saturday night. A, I fell asleep, and B, Sunday was just a hectic day. Getting out of the circuit, getting set up, doing the gig, doing the presentation, getting in the car, driving home. That I'm still playing catch-up with the backlog. But Slady was saying that he's just got to prioritise real-world work and other things, and he's also looking to... I'm going to bring the chat thread up now. I won't disclose any information that I'm not allowed to, obviously, Slady. But yeah, he's actually online at the moment, so he's probably tuning in. But he doesn't practice as much as he probably should. When he does decide to actually come and compete for a championship, he just starts to not enjoy it. And we know a few people that fall into that category. So he'll be driving something regardless. He spent much of the last 12 months in the sim time in the Gen 3. So he's starting to feel a little bit monotonous. So we're probably going to see him jump behind the wheel of something else for the next short while, when time permits and when he's able to jump in and join us here on the platforms of the GSRC. But you might remember the reason why I mentioned Slady. He's not on the grid now, but a couple of weeks ago, we of course ran a tribute lap. The boys from his team stable, AITX. Oh, trouble for Greg Heaney. Oh, no. That is a broken race car, Dan Yeaman, and that one's going no further than the pit lane, I'd imagine. If you can get it there. Oh, no, there goes Sam Blacklock as well. Blacklock's gone around. He's dropped down 3 spots. Cullen Jones and Radu go through. Blacklock's down to 7th. The seas have parted for James Scott and Will Buchanan here, Dan.
Yeah, oh, and there's more.
JD Ned's in trouble now as well.
So I just want to try and see if we can figure out where Greg Heaney's
bound to happen
come
eventually.
unstuck.
Yeah, it's bound to happen eventually.
Thinking possibly starting around here with Dale Sharps having an incident. Oh, Dale, oh no. Okay, so Dale's gone off there. Oh, and then I think separate to all of that, it's here, I think. Unfortunately, oh, sorry, not that one there. The one coming up here in a second. Okay, so while Sharp runs off the road and locks up here at the end of the turn 2-3 stretch. Oh, Heaney, oh, sorry, Greg's just in too hot.
Heaney on his own. Yep, and that checked everybody up.
Not going to lie.
He's gone on his own.
From the angle I saw it, I thought maybe Craig had attempted to move there into that chute.
You and me were both thinking the same thing, mate.
But it's not the case.
I'm very pleased.
Oh,
contact and gone. Daniel Snedden was a lap down. And Blacklock was obviously trying to get through and by and hasn't been able to do so. Whoa, boy. Drama on the streets of Chicago.
That's the story there, and that's both sides of that one have reported that to race control, so that will have to be pieced together, and hopefully we'll get that update for you before the end of this first race. Although we are just 2 minutes and change left before it's over, Zach, so might be something that has to be deliberated in between races 1 and 2. In fact, we've just had an update. We'll see if it comes through on the screen for you folks. If it doesn't, I'll have to manually trigger it here in a second.
Now, it's interesting in all of that. I'll obviously I go around the world and take 15 different routes and side steps and whatever else to make the point, ladies and gentlemen, but I'll come back to it shortly. Let's have a look at Bradley Ratsu, link this thing home. We are on lap 10. We will see the white flag next time by, so that'll be lap 11. 11 laps to the opening heat. Probably looking at no more than about 14 for the second. So 11 and 14 is 25, but there's a compulsory pit stop in that third heat as well. So, yeah, don't be surprised if it's 25 laps for that third heat, give or take. And we go back now to, actually, well, actually, I might be off the money there. 10, 15, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 24, maybe 25. We'll see. How many cars have all panels looking good? Not many. Race control, post-race investigation for contact, blue flags and incident, Blacklock and Snedden. So already the boys are committing to a little bit of overtime in their booth tonight. Get the coffee brewing, boys. Could be a late one. White flag's about to fly here for James Scott. Great to see him on the platforms of the GSRC. Prominent sim racer, as the boys have detailed earlier, and he's smashing it to pieces here. Will Buchanan second, Lachlan Capel's another 9 seconds down the road, Sam Cullen behind him, then Ryan Jones. Ryan Jones best of the rest. 3 Revolution E-Racing boys in the top 5, and Lockie Capel, we expect Logitech G Orbit drop their motorsport to be towards the front. There's 3 of them in the top 10 as well. Ryan Jones for DPR. A lone assassin there at this point in time. Blake Fitz, Jason Douglas and Alex Tzikis making up the top 10. So good to see 2 JMR boys in the top 10 as well. a lot of these guys not on the grid in a fortnight. I think it's a fortnight. April 29 is the next round of the Logitech G Pro Invitational Series. So again, with a couple of those rounds creeping in throughout the course of the campaign, they know full well that if you're going to race and make a game of it through the 10-round campaign and be a factor when we get to week 10, they need to make the 8 rounds in which they're here count, because they've got no drop rounds to fall back on. James Scott will head towards the checkered flag very shortly and grab himself a race win. There's Terry Marsh, last season's Dev Split winner, having a run around in the Elite Split now. James Scott dominant here in the opening heat of the night on the streets of Chicago. He and his teammate for the night, Will Buchanan, will launch from row 4 in the next heat. There's Lockie Capel lighting it up, having a bit too much fun when it's under the end of race 1. You've got to survive the other 2 first, Lockie. Sam Cullen, Ryan Jones, and Bradley Radu made up the top 6. Back then to Sam Blacklock. Blake Fitz will take the invert pole ahead of Jason Douglas and Alex Chizikas. Big gap, actually, from Fitz, about 7 seconds back to Douglas. Well done to Sam Cullen, holding on to 4th spot. And Will Buchanan, obviously, showing some good form there and probably learning a thing or two. I think that's probably the best thing about that amicable agreement they've got in place to have James Scott running the Revolution E-Racing AITX colours tonight, Dan Yeaman, and the fact that they can leverage some of his worldly experience in this sim racing universe of ours. He's an experienced old hand. He may be able to just give these guys a couple of different pointers to help out their own game.
Yeah, not to discredit the boys at AITX too much, but it's definitely a step up in pace from Will. Sam obviously is riding along pretty neatly there with James and the rest of the AITX squad. So that's looking promising if they're going to have access to that kind of resources and pace throughout this season.
Look at them all just parking up everywhere on the side of the road and getting the fast tow back to the pit lane. I'm just trying to remember the thread. I was talking about Slady. So they're lining up for the consolation race now. This will be 20 minutes, or what we think will be about 14 laps. Blake Fitz, Sam Blacklock front right. Bradley Radu, Ryan Jones, Sam Cullen, Lachlan Cable, Will Buchanan, and James Scott will be the top 8 on that grid. There were the results. 1.042 seconds in the end was the winning margin. The Dev Split won by Andy Barber ahead of Ryan Barber. First blood goes to Andy this term in the Barber battle, and Adam Lavis in for 3rd. The to be confirmed, to be assigned a split, saw Jackson Sufong ahead of Ross Amor. JD Dent made up the top 3 there. There is the grid. Row 9, Jason Douglas and Alex Chizikas, the 2 teammates. 9:45 local server time. 25 km an hour winds northwesterly direction, 20 degrees the ambient, 24% humidity, partly cloudy conditions, and 24 on track. Set for a start. Let's watch all the hecticness of the opening few laps here play out, and then we'll get back to making the points that we wanted to make there a few moments ago. We just didn't get the chance to finish them off because all hell broke loose, as we expect on a street circuit. Off and racing. Perfect start from Blake Fitz. Trouble at the back. There was a little bit of hip and shoulder there, but they got away with it. No one in the wall just yet. I think Greg Keeney got muscled and hustled a little bit. Fitz, Blacklock, cleanly away. Ratu, Capel, Jones, Buchanan, side by side, trying to find clear air. Good luck with that in the early stages. Side by side, Buchanan and Jones. Jones up in the 5th spot. Buchanan down his inside. Oh, jeez. Hold it together, boys. Through we go. They make the charge down the hill for the first time. Lap 1, 20 minutes. We expect it to be about 14 laps, give or take. At a 1 minute 25. They may squeeze in an extra one. I'm just trying to do the mental arithmetic at the moment. It's always hard when it's sub 1 minute 30 and plus 1 minute 20. But it is only 20 minutes. It's not 21 like it would be in a GT3 scenario. Nice clean driver, but races hard. I missed the point with who you were talking to there. Aidan, apologies for that. There's Adam Hayne. See? The more traditional, more synonymous HTS racing colours back on the Supercar at the moment. And my Am I to put two and two together there, Dan Yeaman, and suggest that they might not have an 86 livery, but they might need to work on one over the next 7 days?
I think it's a strong indication of what's up there in the paint archives, or the garage, if you will, for HTS, yes.
So we continue on. We've got a missing, is that a front end missing? No, it's just the livery, a bit off-putting there on my part. Ryan Jones in the wall! Scraping along the wall! That was Buchanan and Jones, or was it Jones and Scott? I think it was Jones and Scott.
Yeah, Buchanan already through by the time they got to turn 4 there. But Ryan wanting to hold on to every single place he can here. Having to work for it.
Trying to hold his own as well and make life as difficult as possible for Scott to work his way through. They both clear out the wall at the exit. The right-hander. Now, through the S-bend, actually the C section of the circuit. That long, sweeping left-hander. To the right-hander. Back down the hill. And as you said, Dan, this is a great circuit because it looks pretty basic on the map, but a bit like Sydney Olympic Park. The map doesn't show the rise and fall, the bumps, the undulation, etc., and so forth. Great characteristics.
100%. As part of me, I've just noticed there was a late message from race control in race 1 that I'm just going to quickly try and fill out if we can. Whilst also keeping an eye on everything here going on in this race. It was some incident involving Terry Marsh in the 0-1, and it says in the chat message here, just Ryan Barber in the first race. Something we quite catch.
Drivers, of course, from different splits as well, because Barber's still in the Dev split. Marsh has been promoted up into the Elite split after winning the Dev Championship last time out, hence why he's running the 0-1. Whilst Jace Douglas wears the number 1. Post-race investigations. So, yeah, keep an eye on that. And the boys will be checking that out. Whether they're doing that in between during race 2 going back if the time permits, or whether it's just going to be post-event, as in post-race 3, time will tell. Through we go. Sam Cullen 9th place at the moment. We ride with him. He's chasing Jason Douglas. Our invert pole currently being held by Alex Tzikis in 12th. A lot of moving and shaking in this order so far, so much so that the only driver in the top 12 that remains where he started is Bradley Ratu as far as the Elite Supercar split is concerned. And for some reason, we've got 6th missing on our totem pole there. I'm not sure what's going on.
Purely because of the fact we're on board with Sam Cullen and they've done the class split.
Yeah.
It's cut down the number of people per class at the show. So if I bring that back to the overall positions, and there we go.
There we go. Oh, how good. Will Buchanan, 125.911, the fastest lap of the race. How good. Into the 25s early on. So 125 and 2 is 250. 250. So give me 8:30 for 6 laps, 17 for 12. And by the skin of our teeth, I'm going to hazard a guess that with maybe 3 or 4 seconds on the clock, if we can maintain that 25 pace, we could squeeze in a 15th lap. But if the times wane us somewhat with tyre wear, as they usually do in the supercars, I think 14's safe bet with regards to the amount of laps we'll see in this car race, given that I was trying to work it out. 14 times 4 or 5, based on whether it's a 25 or a 26. 14 times 5, that's beautiful. That gives you 70 seconds. You're back to the line 10 seconds before time. We know it's not that straight, clear-cut forward, right? 14 times 4, 56 seconds. So you're 4 seconds into overtime. So if we go on that, 14 laps is where we're landing. But whether we get the 11 of race 1 and the 14 of race 2 combined for race 3, I don't think so. Because, again, we don't have 2 batches of overtime at our disposal there. We've just got 35 minutes flag to flag. So expect maybe 24 laps. So 11 and 14 is 25 and 24 is 49 laps for the night around here on the streets of Chicago. 6 minutes gone. I'm trying to remember the thread of why I started talking about. We of course had that magnificent, heartfelt outpouring of support and tribute for Jake Slade and his fallen mate who passed away through rather tragic personal circumstances. The Black Dog livery that was run by his team, the AITX stable, and just the whole general mood and vibe of that night where we opened the arms and gave everybody around us a big bear hug. 3 wide, this is not going to end well. Sam Cullen had to give way there. Oh, that's Adam Hayne. That's nicely done.
Can he hold it?
Cullen's been hip and shouldered in all of this. Cullen actually go to AITX, I'm trying to remember. And, oh, jeez.
At least last season.
Yep. There's 500 members to try and keep across, and it's getting more difficult by the season. But Adam Hayne into 8th spot now, holding on, forceful. Very good stuff. Across the line we go. It does look like there's a bit of damage on the front end of, I want to say, Alex Tzikis' car. Looks like the front spoiler has parted company with that somewhere along the line. Yes, it has.
Just the front left
purely.
Stirring a bit. Otherwise, okay.
Based purely on the fact that if you look at Chase Douglas's, there's a lot more white down the very bottom of that race car at the moment. So whether that's a livery difference or whether there it is, it is the whole bottom left, as you say. And it looks as though he's actually gone with a different colour across the bottom.
Yeah, it is actually a completely different splitter design choice they've made between the Camaro and Mustang. So I don't blame you for, say, looking at Jace's car as a reference and going, hang on, we're missing it. But no, actually, it's just knocked in. It's going to be pretty standard around here with all the medium speed right-handers, turn 4, turn 8 up here if you overshoot and you hit the fence out there, as well as turn 10 if you come around this long sweeping arc of a left-hander. Prime spots where you understeer it into the fence, and the splitter will take a hit and might just be able to get away with it.
We got a sense here 3 weeks ago, Dan. It's just how close, how good the camaraderie was, how universally loved everyone was, how tight-knit we were as a sim racing community and as a club a couple of weeks ago, and just, how it's about so much more than racing. And it was actually really nice. We didn't get a chance to chat to him on air, but Brooksy stuck around, and we shot the breeze until 3 a.m. the next morning. Such was the overall vibe of that night. It was a great opportunity to just sit down, take stock, and have conversations. It's unfortunate that it takes circumstances like fatalities to do that, but at the same time, it was great to have some general banter with Brooksy on that occasion. Yeah, exactly, and as you rightly should be, mate. So many of the RER boys out there on the racetrack tonight, and they're doing great. But it'll be great to see whatever Slady throws his hat in the ring with. Obviously, it won't be the supercars. He's going to try something else. And Aidan Carr was mentioning it earlier. It's not only just about trying something different to get out of that whole monotonous rhythm. It's also giving yourself a different challenge. Just giving yourself a different challenge and trying to recapture that enjoyment factor as well. So it's not lost on anybody that occasionally a change in this paper, and we're lucky as well, Dan. There are so many different options at your disposal. We've got 8 different championships running here on weeknights throughout the course of the term. No shortage of opportunity to go out there and just reignite the fire, if nothing else. Put the fire in the belly and put the enjoyment back into the whole caper. So looking forward to seeing Slady pop up on the grid somewhere down the line, and he's off doing other ventures at the moment, starting a side hustle away from sim racing, away from his usual work. Think fishing, think somewhere down those avenues and lines. Cannot wait to see what he does with that, and we wish him all the very best. We are at the 11-minute mark of this heat. We're riding on board with James Scott. Perfect illustration here, Dan, of just how difficult it is to find a way to the front on this circuit. Top 6 down to Scott, covered by 2.5 seconds. But even James Scott is in risk management mode at the moment. He's not being too forceful, not being too aggressive here. He's just playing the long game, being patient, going about his business, and taking those opportunities when they're presented to him. But the bad thing is, none of the 5 ahead of him have actually openly given him an opportunity yet. It's been very well controlled racing from all the top 6 so far.
Yeah, they're all compressing now. Quite something fierce. Our top, across the line here, top 6 covered by 2.2 seconds at the line there.
Insane. But again, it highlights several things. A, the skill set of these guys. And you're going to see them in the Logitech G Pro Invitational in a couple of weeks' time. Not just the skill set of them, but also just how difficult it is to execute a clean overtaking manoeuvre around here. Here's the guy who found that out the hard way in Heat 1. Hello, Bondi. I was actually really glad that third incident that we saw where there was no contact whatsoever, but he was obviously caught up with as collateral. It was really good news for him that he had no involvement in that whatsoever, because it wouldn't have been a very nice way to return at the service of the GSRC for Bondi if that was a 25-second penalty plus another one. Oh, no, big one on the wall. There goes Bradley Ratto. What on earth is going on there? Is that another system failure? Another tech issue? Bradley Ratto. It does look like that is the case. That car has disappeared off the face of the planet. Let's have a look at this again. Oh my goodness.
I'm actually gonna say no. To be honest, that looked like Brad was in control until he'd gone in. Let's try again with another exterior shot rather than the onboard.
He's only just now been able to get on the tow line. That's a long time to be sitting stationary.
Although that is
just
just
looked as though we lost him. Yeah.
Because he's steering right, then the throttle and hard left comes on. Although
Now,
I guess.
how long does he sit there?
Well, we can sit with
That's
this
what
for a
I'm
moment if we want to.
Yeah, because I thought when we took another shot that it might have just been that he had a packet loss and he dropped out. But if he hasn't been able to drive it out there and now get on the tow rope, he's just stayed there, hasn't he?
It's a good 20...
And this isn't like the Logitech G Pro Invitational where you have to message race control and request a tow. You could fast escape out of here if you wanted to, but there it is now. Now, that wouldn't normally take that long, I wouldn't have thought.
No, maybe that does lend credence to that once again. At turn 7 of all places, there's a bit of a double up. We've had something happen. Call me the skeptic and just get my own drivers and wondering if there was something else going on there.
What it's done is really blow things up out of proportion at the front, because now Sam Blacklock's got 2.4 to the good, right? James Scott is now in third and giving him good chase. Blake Fitz is second and holding on for dear life. Lachlan Capel's another 1.2 down the road, and Ryan Jones is another 3.1 down the road. No further incident, Martin Lipsky and Daniel Sneddon, and that's what's happened to Will Buchanan. Oh no, the front end has gone there as well.
Oh, we've had a separate incident.
Okay.
This is what's fractured the group.
Yep.
Oh no, Will.
He's locked it up and got some help on the way through. Was that Cable finishing him off?
Yep. Yeah, that was Lucky Cable who clipped him as he was locked up and heading for the tyre barrier at turn 1.
In Lockie's defence, nothing he could have done?
He's trying to make the corner on his own way, yeah. As Greg Heaney separately with Dale Sharp has a moment at turn 1-2, and then I think we need to stay with this because JD Dents alongside. Oh no, fellas. And JD may have just conveniently parked himself in the runoff. No, he'll return to the circuit. Oh, James Scott issue.
Oh no, there we go. So that's still Buchanan's broken front end, and now Scott's dropped down to 6th now. This was trying to get by Fitz. No!
It's Blacklock and Sneddon all over again, except for position.
Yep. And unfortunately, when you're up against the wall, you're going to bounce back into the car that's right there beside you. You had nowhere to go, Blake Fitz. So that's unfortunate for him. And there goes Ryan Barber as well. The streets of Chicago are fighting hard tonight, and Barber's rejoined not ideal either, but Adam Labus was able to take evasive action, and now Adam Haynes in trouble as well. We've got someone asking if we're rooting for anybody specifically, and I was like, no, we're trying to be impartial. We are commentators at the end of the day. If you're wondering, there is a connection here. Dan Yeaman is a member of the Logitech G Orbit Drop-Down Motorsport stable, but don't worry, because those guys are very good, whether they're in the commentary box, in the post-race show, or in their own internal service, at throwing light and shade on each other. So there's no bias here like what there are or can be in other motorsport parlance. And you don't have to go too far outside of social media to find out what the hell I'm talking about there, going back a couple of years. Dodgem cars, yes, exactly. I guess the panel beaters are making they're making a profit tonight. There's no doubt about that. That's Michael Heaney chiming in there. Good to have you back for term 2, mate. There are some places you pass and some you don't. Yes, agreed. And again, we're only just talking about that. It seems funny, doesn't it? JD gets a 5-second penalty. Seems appropriate, Dan. We're only just talking about that. The legitimate overtaking opportunities where you pass, where you don't, and the lack thereof, free, viable overtaking opportunities around this circuit.
Turns 1 and 2, 90-degree corners, makes it easy enough. Turn 4 is an option, but you have to be committed up alongside under brakes to be able to make that cleanly stick, and then you have to be able to pull it up enough that you leave space for the car on the outside if there's any overlap still. So it's sketchy through here at 4 and 5, but it's an option after they widened it up a bit after the initial design of the circuit was released into iRacing. Turn 6 coming up here at this end of this stretch, definitely again the mirror of the start-finish straight. The same thing as at turn 7, the mirror almost at turn 2. Just again, it's a little tight on the exit. You're going into a downhill braking zone here, so you've got to be careful to not lock it up and fire it in deep. Then you probably need to wait until after you get round the fountain segment, but again, narrow on the exit of that part of the circuit at turn 11. And then the final corner, turn 12, 9-degree right-hander, once again on the start-finish stretch. There's a reasonable chance. So, to be honest, most parts of this track you can get something out of his mechanic, just bouncing off the fence there with his damage on his car. Looks like he's decided with the time left in the race, it's time to go hell for leather and maybe sacrifice some more car parts, because we are under the white flag of Barney here.
That was always going to happen. That was always going to creep up on us. So 14 laps the journey this one. I was right again. I'm happy with that. Takes some cooperation. Yes, it does, absolutely. And communication as well. But nevertheless, these guys will learn the hard way. It is only night 1 of the term. For these guys, anyway, on the Wednesday night. It's night 2 for those of us in the booth. But the interesting thing in all of this, when you look at the Supercar race format, there are 17 races in this campaign. This is only race 2 of those. We'll break that down in more detail for you in just a tick. Final roll of the dice. Last lap, last run home. Sam Cohen holding on to 5th.
He's just got past James Scott, actually. That's not holding on.
So, is that more as a result of the damage that Scott sustained earlier? Yeah, there's Will Buchanan.
Trying, didn't get past Douglas there.
No. And holding on to the invert is... Just actually, can we have a look at the overall totem pole, just in case there's a dev split competitor that's got up? Yes. So Johnny Bannack's holding on to the invert. Sam Blacklock takes the checkered flag and scores victory on the streets of Chicago. I didn't want to say that Luke Page was holding on to the invert just in case a dev split competitor had wedged his way into the top 12, which he has. Blake Fitz comes home in 4th. Lachlan Cable was 2nd. Ryan Jones in for 3rd. Blake Fitz, Sam Cullen, James Scott, Terry Marsh. Harrogate Marshy up 8 spots. His best finish as an elite competitor. He'll be firmly wedged to the invert there in position number 6. 8th for Adam Hay, 9th for Chase Douglas, then Will Buchanan, Anthony Barber getting the result there required as far as the dev split results are concerned. Bannack in for 12th. My apologies, I got myself tongue-tied there. Bannack is an elite, but will obviously Andy Barber is the leader of the dev split. So there is still a dev split competitor in there, and that is why Bannack finishes 12th outright and will be the invert pole sitter. Not the 12th class finisher, which is Luke Page. And winning your to be confirmed was Armour, and Andy Barber winning the dev split from Adam Lavis and Ryan Barber. So Barbers and Lavis show at the moment. Barbers are the bread of the sandwich, and Lavis the meat. Interesting race, that bit to take away from it, and rather be here than in race control tonight, Dan Yeaman.
Busy, yes. Because there's that one there too that's just come through.
Yeah, and not really a surprise, to be fair. A third to go as well. 35 minutes still to come. Yeah, exactly. So a lot still ahead of us tonight here on the platforms of the GSRC. A 2-minute warm-up thrown in for good measure as well. Sam Blacklock, Lachlan Cable, Ryan Jones, Blake Fitz, Sam Cullen, James Scott with that 5-second penalty. That cannot be applied in server. That'll be thrown out post-race after the fact, and it'll be reflected in the points, and that will actually be costly for Scott because it'll drop him down 5 seconds. Will drop him down to 10 behind Will Buchanan. Johnny Back 11th and Luke Page 12th in the elite split standings. As we say, Andy Barber, the winner of the dev split, gets a front row start in all of that second outright, and that gives Andy Barber a tremendous leg up. There were 16 finishers: Bradley Ratu, a retirement, Nikola Zubcic, and Connor Nixon as well. Radu not yet getting back out onto the racetrack. I'm not sure if he's still in the server, quite frankly. Barber, Lavis, Barber, Lipsky, Sharp, Heaney, and Cowman, the finishers in the second sprint race for the dev split. Snedden, a retirement, and I dare say night done. And then Armour, JD Dent, Sufong, and McNamara, of course, a non-starter in the to-be-confirmed division of the Supercar splits, with thanks to Trophi.AI. We do it with thanks to Trophi.AI, merch.tgsrci.com, Flash Graphics, Disruptive Labs, and Waste Options. Wednesday Night Motorsport across Facebook and YouTube. We are live, exclusive, and free. We are approaching 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 on the West Coast to 11:30 in New Zealand. We're burning the midnight oil over in the land of the long white cloud. A bit to take away from that one. Late night for race control, and it sets us up nicely for a fruity and spicy third and final heat here, Dan Yeaman. Looking forward to this one. And it gives Andy Barber a tremendous leg up. If he can stay clean and stay out of trouble and keep it at the front of the field, he has a tremendous opportunity to go out there and claim the win in the dev split, because he's the only dev split driver starting in the top 12, and he's starting on the front row.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much perfect for him in that situation there. Yes, well, we'll talk more season with the drivers after things wrap up here. So we'll have a look at it all in a moment. But let's quickly run you through that grid indeed as they'll kick off for this third and final race.
Adam Richards, our good mate from Disruptive Labs, hoping to be back in the 86s next week. That's good news. Good to see, mate. And good to see you back in a position in which to be able to go racing. 1:45 local server time, 29 km/h winds. South to southwesters, I should say. My apologies. I'm getting tongue-tied. 22 degrees the ambient, 32 on track, partly cloudy conditions, dry, and 16% humidity at this point. There's the grid for you, folks. We're ready to rock and roll. Project 36 tuning in here as well. Supporting Barbs. Which one, Andy or Ryan? We're ready to go. None the less, ladies and gentlemen. What can Johnny Bannock do with a clear track ahead of him? Will Buchanan's in there as well. Let's wait for the start. Here we go. Watch Ryan Barber and Andy Barber from the front. Beautiful start through the middle. Jason Douglas. That's a magnificent getaway off the line. He gets the better of Barber, who got absolutely swamped. And Bannock leads to the first turn. Will Buchanan's down on his inside. Bannock's immediately running defence on Jace Douglas, who now gets hip and shouldered out of the road by Adam Hayne. Douglas is scraping the wall. Barber's dropped back to 5th and 6th. And in behind them is Blake Fitz, and then the Orbit drop their entry. There alongside, that's Blacklock and Marsh, I think, yep. And Marsh and Capel in behind them. There's Lockie just coming into shot. 11th was Ryan Jones. 12th was Sam Cullen. Safe and clean getaway for the first of 35 minutes worth of racing, which we think will equate to about 24 laps.
And first call to race control and the first visible damage of the servo, unfortunately, or session, it's going to go to Brad Radu. Now, we'll pick up what's triggered that exactly, but yeah, it's not a great start when you've got a race where you want to be able to go a little bit longer before you start thinking about pit stops.
Well, that's exactly right. At what point you pull the trigger and come to pit lane, and you persevere with a compromised car for a couple laps just to get yourself...
Oh, Terry, no!
Down. No, he's not going to be able to. Terry Marsh at the wall. Marsh in the wall. And he's just going to have to sit there stationary and wait now. It's going to take a while for him to have clear air, clear track in order to move out of that precarious position he finds himself in at the moment. Lachlan Cable side by side with Ryan Jones. Andy Barber the next target for them. One gone. Buchanan leads from Scott Bannock in third. The AITX Revolution E-Racing boys 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So Bannock playing the team game there. He can now run defence on Adam Hayne, who won so clinically here in the rain. We're at a point of the time of the night where I can describe the rain with a bit more fruity language, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try and be professional. But yes, it was described as moderate. There was a bit more than that, ladies and gentlemen. There was a fair bit. I would have had to have grabbed a broom out to sweep it off the circuit to try and dry it. Maybe even get a super sopper out there from the cricket ground nearby. Yeah, there was plenty of water to go around, no shortage. So, hello Project 36, good to have you tuning in as well, and they're here for the RER love as well. 35 minutes worth of racing, and Adam Hayne absolutely smashed it, tore it to shreds earlier tonight in the rain, not having as much luck in the dry at the moment, but he is sitting third at the moment under pressure from Sam Blacklock, and they've both got by Johnny Bannock. That's Alex Tzikis with his hands full trying to get by Ryan Jones. Jonesy back down the inside.
Because for the moment, what's Ryan Jones end up so far back? Here we go, lap 2.
Here we go. Minus one to Jonesy.
Oh, Ryan does by himself. Oh!
Yeah, he does. Oh wow. There, wow, whoa. Yeah. How lucky is he to be able to still have a straight race car there?
And Jackson Sufong shortly afterwards, I think. We'll watch this as that turn 6. We've just seen Ryan just... Oh, hello. Whoa!
Yeah, there's a fair bit going on down here. Dale Sharp's involved. JD Dent's involved. Jason Douglas is out for the night. Actually, no, he's not out for the night, but he is a lap down. He's been on pit lane. He's been on the tow rope, I think.
Yeah,
or he's had an internet issue. Because he's showing having been down to pit lane for 5.6 seconds and out there a lap down.
Live.
Alex Tzikis is gone. That's live. And look at the front end of that car looking a lot worse for wear. Dale Sharp on pit lane has been for about a minute and a half. All hell breaking loose here. Some of these guys not able to get themselves in the window yet, Dan, without coming to pit lane. And that compromises the back end of their race, if nothing else.
Yeah, so Douglas is actually, to the full order, here's apparently a connection issue for action from Douglas, and a recamp has been attempted, but nevertheless, it's going to knock him way down 2+ laps behind the leaders here, and with no safety car mechanisms and GSRC racing here, that is pretty much the end of any competitive result, and it's now just chasing the points on offer here for finishing with a classified result.
And that's the whole point, because, I mean, it's not necessarily an issue in these servers. Apologise again for the barking dogs in the background. Not much I can do about that at this point in time, apart from walk away from my post and go and chastise them in person. Dale Sharp, Alex Tzikis both on the tow rope on pit road. Sharpie's managed to get back out there, though, after 2 minutes 11 seconds. Jace Douglas is now still showing only 1 lap down, but it's almost 2 compared to where Will Buchanan is on the racetrack.
Oh, no.
But oh, no, there's... Yep, Dane Snadden caught up and all but dropped there. Motorsport entry did well not to catch up a few more, quite frankly. And again, Snadden's going to have the same problem that Bondi had and a few others earlier, trying to get out of there cleanly. He's done an okay job of that, but it drops him well down the order to 23rd. You make the point about banking the points, Dan, and I think it's important to mention that in relation to Jason Douglas. It's so important for him to get out there and bank the points, right? New points matrix, new points system this term, everything's worth, 66% more than what it was last term. So that was the best way to describe it, because as Adam Waver said to me, if it was worth 60 points last term, it's now worth 100. If it was worth 90, it's worth 150. So everything's 67% more than what it was last term. We also now pay all positions on the racetrack, not necessarily an issue here because we don't have 25 per split. So that's not necessarily a consideration to factor into the equation. It's 7 minutes gone. It's Ryan Jones in 10th spot, but the importance for Douglas is with a view to the big picture of all 17 races, finishing all 17, consistent results, making the most of the weeks in which all the invitational competitors that are running in the ASRG Logitech series aren't in the house, and just banking points. Not ideal what's happened here, but it's better than a zero.
So there we go. Johnny Bannock going to be the first driver who's running up towards the front of the field for now to duck to the pit lane, get his compulsory stop out of the way, and something more akin to on-strategy call. That's still nearly 30 minutes of running he's going to have to then do if he doesn't have to do another stop. So I guess I'm not necessarily convinced that it's the right time to do it, but maybe he can prove me wrong.
Maybe so. Cross the line again. We're on to lap 6. Looking at about 24 for this race. It's very quick, elongated, this race. It's very quickly spread out and stretched out into something that resembles a processional sort of practice session, such has been the carnage early on. And hopefully we'll have enough substance in the battles that are still unfolding on the racetrack to keep you entertained for the next 30 minutes, folks. And beyond as well, because we've still got a post-race show to get through yet as well. I'm not going to lie, I'm starting to feel a little bit fatigued at this end of the night. One of the joys of coming to Cessnock, ladies and gentlemen, is that for the benefit of those that don't already know, no further action for that incident with Bondi and Bradley Ratu on lap 1. So, we never actually followed up to see if Bradley Ratu got himself back out on the racetrack. But
he's right there actually on the screen with us.
He's 13th, yeah. So he's chasing Ryan Barber at the moment. Who's sitting second in the Dev split, and I'll let Dan Yeoman see if he can track down a replay of what happened on that opening lap between Bond and Ratu. When Ratu's front end's crunched up, so definitely something has happened. Joel and Hanson just saying that there's never a dull moment here. We'll find out. Yes, Snedden, I'm in neck knock. Yeah, exactly. Bradley Ratu, let's have a look at this. Bondi.
Here we go.
On squeeze job.
Okay, not yet. It should come over here at 24, I think.
4. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. No racing room, really. Nowhere for Bondi to go. And just a little bit of movement from Ratu. So I can understand why race control's got no further action on that.
You know, agreed. They've ended up right opening the corner, Craig coming off the wall. They're both looking for the same bit of racetrack where there's only enough room for one car if you're sharing the same space.
To go back to Snedden's point, if you're online at the end of the broadcast, mate, jump into Discord. I'll have a quick chat with you. But one of the because there's been a bit going on in old Cessnock this week, and the locals know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to divulge too much more information than that. But for the benefit of everybody else, yeah, one of the things that happens here is that my usual rhythm and routine and structure and pattern and whatever else goes out the window. So instead of being a mid to late morning riser to accommodate the fact that I'm a late night finisher, I'm a night owl going to bed later than most normal people because it takes a little bit of time to wind down from the adrenaline rush of doing these broadcasts, etc., etc. But I don't get that here because we've been busy the last couple of days in the Capen household. So it's been a case of getting up at 8 a.m. and I never knew that was a thing because I'm not a morning person unless I absolutely have to. So we've been up 8 a.m. consecutive mornings. So we get to the point of the day, even after 3 or 4 coffees, where, I'm just starting to hit that wall. So Monday night, it was pretty much straight in, have a shower, go straight to bed. Last night, I didn't even bother. When I got home, I went and had dinner at the Bayview Hotel in Woy Woy, and I thoroughly recommend that for anybody that's passing through the Central Coast. Go down to Woy Woy, go to the Bayview, tell them we sent you. See if they'll do a sponsorship deal, actually, on the platforms of the GSRC. Recommend the Palmy down there because my old housemate from Bathurst was in town on business with his work, and he said, mate, let's catch up, let's have a coldie. I saw you in town. I said, it's only an hour and a quarter down there. Absolutely done. But again, I came straight home from that. Normally there's a wind down sort of process. No, straight to bed. So sleep's been of a premium the last couple of nights. The days have been long and they've been a lot busier because I'm not just sitting at the desk and absorbing the usual stuff. I've been out and about, running errands, moving around the place, catching up with family, etc. So it has been a very busy couple of days. So if I'm sounding a little bit underdone by the time we get to 11 o'clock tonight, at least there's a valid explanation as to why. Tomorrow night I don't think we'll have such problem though, because I'll be getting noise complaints from the neighbourhood after calling 3 Formula V races from Mexico City, least of all what the Porsches are going to do from the same venue. 12 and a half minutes gone here. It's a 35-minute race, so we're at third race distance. And again, we're on that 9th lap. We've got a pit stop to factor into the equation here. We're looking good for 24. Race pace has dropped off. 1:26.254 for Wilby Buchanan was the fastest lap earlier on. But they're already losing a second a lap on that, Dan. They're already down to the 27s. Lap traffic, that's number 1 factor. Number 2, the tyres in these cars, or on these cars, I love Dunlop with a passion, but they're not what you'd call the most durable tyre in the world.
No, and there's some particular quirks with the way the tyre on this car is mauled. There's, remember, should I get this right? If it's the lateral grip is a little down on what it should be, I think it is. Part of me getting the orientations wrong. So there's not enough side-to-side grip compared to what the car actually has in real life. Your front, like your actual traction in a straight line is about right. But as a result, these cars are picky. And you have to be very mindful with how you drive them. And whilst we now have adjustable throttle maps to sort of soften how much power and torque you're asking of the engine in the initial throttle pickup as an option, and especially since we do have open setups too, that's also fully enabled. There is the whole case that, especially around a place like this, mid-30s, as I was just noting on screen for track temperature too, plus bumpy concrete, traction grip from the circuit is at a premium to boot on top of what the car could do with, or in this case can't really provide itself.
Tyson Broad ripping into you in the comment thread. Jesus. That was what I was saying earlier to anybody tuning in at home, wondering if there was any commentary allegiances here. It's friendly fire between the Logitech G Orbit Drop Dead Motorsport stable, even on air, from the comfort of the keyboard and the director's chair. Adam Hayne picks up the warning for racing room with Johnny Bannock on lap 2, and that was, of course, when they were trying to get by Johnny in the early stages. He slotted down into 11th spot. He's completed his pit stop. Top 9 yet to complete a pit stop in the elite split, at least. In the dev split, Andy Barber, Adam Lavis, Greg Heaney, Martin Lipsky and Jake Cowman yet to stop. And Ross Armour and JD Dent yet to stop as well. We'll break down that calendar in more detail for you very shortly. But if you saw the Toyota calendar, you know that we're doing very much similar in terms of the track layouts, etc., etc. Sorry, I just had a message coming through because I'll come back to that. RER12, Daniel Snedden. It was interesting in all of that. We're analysing what's going on here earlier. We've got some international love going on at the top of the screen there. If you have a look at the user handle that's just liked and subscribed to the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club on YouTube. We are 16 and a quarter minutes in. I was making the point about pit stops. So we've got about half and half of the drivers who've come in and completed this CPS and those that haven't. We've also had a few retirements. Dan, also a couple of guys that aren't in business anymore. Actually, hang on. This is a bit weird. So Jackson Sufong's the only one of the TBC split. That's fine. Dale Sharp is 2 laps down or thereabouts. Connor Nixon's finally graced us with his presence, but I'm not sure what's going on there.
I'm going to have to
we've barely seen him all night.
Interrogate him after the race because he dropped out around the time of the start of race 1, didn't do either of race 1 or 2, started race 3 and has promptly either dropped or disconnected again in the middle of this race.
And Ryan Jones, meanwhile, is at the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 26.167.
I also know that
going on.
The comment from Brooksy was Tyson say to be a cheeky one and pipe up. Yeah, look, what can I say? My guys love a good little drive-by at me, at anyone else on the team. Seems to be part of the culture we've built for ourselves of not taking each other seriously, regardless of what we're doing, unless it's an actual result on track. So I've got to ask Tyson, what's he doing out being a FIFO worker or something tonight? Because he should be out on track getting more laps in himself.
Exactly. Daniel Snedden, I'm on the lounge having dinner now. What have you gone with, mate? One of the local takeaway eateries, Red Rooster, Reporter, Hungry Jack's, Pizza Hut, KFC, Macca's, whatever the case may be. I've literally gone for leftovers because I've been out that much this week that I had that much leftovers. Some of which I had before the broadcast, the rest I'm going back to. We even had leftovers from the butcher the other night. So I've got a nice lamb cutlet sitting there with my name on it at the end of this broadcast. Have a look at how keen everybody was to get around the platform for GSRC and tune in tonight. We're only 2.25 hours into the broadcast, or 2.33 hours into the broadcast, and already 100 comments in the chat section there. So great to have you all tuning in. Chicken tender burritos. Oh, okay, interesting. Interesting. Guess I've got to focus on learning the track for P Cup tomorrow. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, Kurt. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. We're looking forward to that tomorrow night. Delivered some cracking GT3 racing in the past when we've been there. Formula V, they'll be 5 wide down the main straight there. It'll be terrific. 3 safety licence penalty points for Connor Nixon for contact with Terry Marsh. That feels like a little bit of rubbing salt in the wound, considering he's the issues that he's been having. Dear. Oh no, there goes Martin Lipsky, and that's an engine. He's done. Lipsky's going no further. James Scott has punched out the fastest lap of the race, 125.704. We're in a purple patch here because everyone's taken fresh rubber with their pit stops. Top 3 yet to stop. Lipsky on the lane and blowing smoke.
And it just looks like, unfortunately for him, yeah, just a little bit too deep into turn 4. He's not the only one to have issues. It's just going to be Jack Cowan on pit exit. I think just waiting for lead lap traffic. Good to see that awareness from Jake there. Greg Heaney, though, up to turn 6. This is not looking like it's going to be particularly pleasant. Okay. Oh. Doesn't touch a fence, though. Doesn't. Oh, Greg. You touched the fence on the recovery.
Bubba Wallace Tings, says Daniel Stan. The interesting thing in all of that wasn't his rebumping this time, that's right. Keen for a battle with James and Will some first-class attack, defend training for Will. Yeah, exactly. An on-track tutorial from one of the best in the business for Will Buchanan. He's a star on the rise in this caper. That would be great to see. And you've got to leverage that friendship where you can. An inch is as good as a mile. If guys like James Scott, and I've said it before about Matty Dench, and list your, idol sim racer here, ladies and gentlemen. Leverage their friendship if they're willing to divulge any sort of tips, insights, information with regards to how they go about their business from a driving standpoint or their setups or whatever the case may be. This is a tremendous opportunity for the AITX Revolution e-racing stable. Apologies too, when I started digging there earlier, I had a message come in, and it was from somebody that was replying to a message from me earlier in the evening where I was talking about an acronym, and they came up with a completely different acronym than what I was angling for, but I laughed because it was like, that actually works, I like it, I'll pay it, and we'll discuss that later. But yes, good old acronyms. It is amazing how people's minds work and the imagination and everything else when it comes to that sort of stuff. Alex Tzikis, not for the first time tonight, clouding concrete and tyre wall around here. And in the meantime, Ryan Barber, sliding into the corner and into the wall. Yeah. Well, he was back the other night. The Dench Master was back the other night, Dan. Did you see that? He was, although not the best return because he was running a Lambo. And we know that they've been, oh no, there goes Terry Marsh into the wall as well. The Lambo hasn't received a lot of love in GT3 circles in the recent past, and I think from Denchy, it'll be on the NTA list for a little while after Monday night's effort at Spa.
I actually missed that. I haven't had a chance to sort of catch up on the race of Monday night. Just knowing there for Terry Marsh that run into the tyre bundles at turn 1 was quite a damage dealer to his car. It's back live with Ryan Barber and Craig Bond. Not for position, mind you, of course, in class, but this is 14th outright on the road, and we're apparently going to lean on each other a bit into turn 2 here.
Why not? Why not? Kurt Normanson's right tonight for Terry, although I must thank Kurt again for teeing Terry up to give him an education a couple of weeks ago in this server at the end of the broadcast. Terry attended his first post-broadcast chat room in this Discord server, and suffice to say, Terry got an education. Have a look at this. Ryan Barber, Craig Bond. Good to see Bondy back out there. I'm sure he'll be keen to come and have a chat with us after the fact. But not so keen on the 25-second penalty from race 1. Minnie Myers had... Oh, no. Minnie Myers had a stroke. Call 911. 911 won't work in Australia, Daniel Snedden. Unless you're talking about trackside in Chicago there. Then you might be okay. But here, it's 000. Or actually, wasn't it 112 for mobiles for many, many years? 112. Here's Ryan Barber. Second in the dev split at the moment. Let's focus on some car racing. Bondi! Nice. Not for position because we know that they're in different splits at the moment. What's the... Oh no. Don't tee him off. Don't stitch him up. What's the number for the succulent Chinese mill on speed? Oh. Actually, I nearly went... I was down in Charlestown today with the folks and nearly went for the Chinese in the food court there, but then I saw a Porto and I was like, take my money. 25 minutes gone here, 10 minutes to go. And the pleasing thing when I look down this leaderboard, Dan, is that everybody that's out on the racetrack has at least completed one pit stop. May need a second. I know that Terry Marsh is in there at the moment and has been for 3 minutes or so. The guys that stopped earlier in the piece through no fault of their own, apart from running into incidents or each other or concrete, they just couldn't get the car to that point where they were going to be able to top up once and get home, pending no further incidents, of course. So someone like Dale Sharp may have to stop again. Also maybe a question mark over Dane Snadden and Alex Tzidakis. But everybody else that stopped after maybe lap 6, lap 7, we're probably looking at as okay to get to the finish line, but it'll be touch and go for some.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Is trying to find some actual internal class battles. And we now have one brewing here. Ryan Jones on tyres from lap 9 versus Blake Fitz, somewhat freshly out of the pits on lap number 16. Here we go. Doesn't commit though in turn 7.
I like the defence work from Jonesy, but can he continue? No, he can't. He bobbled on the exit side by side. That won't end well, boys. Contact. There it is. Gone. And they're both gone. That was always going to happen. And they've blocked the circuit. Fitz gets back going and Jonesy is parked and stranded. Can you believe this? You just saw it coming. It was always destined to happen. Every time someone's tried to go through their side-by-side tonight, it's ended in bloody tears, and it does so again.
Well, Fitz walks away with it for now. I haven't even seen Ryan even... There he finally re-emerges. Other end of the start-finish straight.
All the way down in 12th in class. And if race control weren't already committed to overtime tonight there, certainly will be now.
From this angle there, it's not looking good for Fitzy. It looks like he's practically maybe a different shot. That's not going to help us.
No.
Yeah, we might just have to leave that be because I think our number of TV angles is just going to be not really suitable. But yeah. First glance.
Well, yeah, I don't think we can get a B pillar angle. That's the problem. Or is it the A pillar these days?
We were riding on board with Fitz, and I did swing across to have a look at Jones. It probably didn't help the perception of where we were at either. Alas. Get back to live pitches. Try and pick up the battles here that are actually happening between the drivers in the same class. It looks like it's going to be our elite split that we are hoping will deliver, although perhaps with a little bit less of an explosive conclusion, as we just saw there between Jones and Fitz.
Can we pick up also Bradley Ratsu and Johnny Bannock just to see if that is half a second between those guys? I think it is. Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, this is Ratsu on recovery now.
And good luck, Johnny Bannock, trying to recover or trying to reel in a hard-charging Bradley Ratsu with the red mist having firmly descended.
Yeah, and the other thing for Johnny is that lap 5 he picked in this race. It was a little deep there at turn 2 from Ratsu trying to chase down Blake Fitz, the next one in the train, if they can re-establish their position with him. Although don't forget Fitzy on much fresher tyres and the drivers around him on the road, so he's in a bit of a rough spot. The one that might be of interest it was in, if not between Buchanan and Scott, whether they will lock horns proper to finish this race off, might be Adam Hayne and his attempts to defend against Lockie Cable here. Tyres practically one lap apart. That shouldn't be too much around here. Hayne here trying to hang on to a P4 finish and finish this race where he started.
4 laps to go for your race leader because we're inside 6 minutes to go. Apologies for the temporary dyslexia. It's caused Johnny defected to the Ford, says Daniel Snell. Oh no. No holds barred between the Revolution E-Racing boys either, it would seem. Will Buchanan. Faultless drive, impeccable. James Scott trying to reel him in. 25.7 for Scott, 26.0 for Buchanan. Last time by, Scott was only 1/10 of a second slower than Buchanan. That's not going to be enough to reel him in at this rate. Can Buchanan keep his calm and composure here and see off the threat that is James Scott?
I'm going to say at this point, unless James is waiting to try and deliver a bit of a stuffy you-blow at the end of this one here, well, that gap is trending upwards in favour of Buchanan holding on to the lead. So 4 minutes to go, give or take, once they hit the line here. And as you said, that'll be 3 laps. Unless James is waiting to deliver something, I think this is definitely this is trending in the right direction for Will.
Indeed it is. Driving forward is parody. Dear, oh dear. Have a look at this. Have a look at these blokes. It's good to see the banter's alive and well tonight. Great to see so many people glued and drawn into what we're bringing you here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, the new term underway. And if we can get this sort of interaction each and every week in the comment thread, it bodes well for the season ahead. Don't forget to come back and join us tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. If for nothing else, to hear me lose my absolute proverbial with Formula V 5 wide in Mexico City. That is going to be an enormous amount of fun. And then, of course, for the Porsches from the same venue, we're back on Monday night with GT3s as well. 10-second penalty for Blake Fitz for the contact with Ryan Jones. Had to see that one coming. There was no other evidence to support Fitzy in that one, unfortunately. And we both agreed on that, Dan Yeaman and I, the way we interpreted what had unfolded there. But good to see that race control were able to make an adjudication on that one in regulation rather than being a post-race application. Daniel Snedden, thank you. I'll appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment. I'm not here next week because of the Porsche Pro Invitational from Spa. I'm very excited about that. That also means there's a few others not here next week either. Daniel Snedden, I crashed because insert information that would get me in trouble. That might be one of the comments of the night, actually, quite frankly. I must say, and I said it, I don't want to get too political about it, but it was great to, when we spoke to a couple of weeks ago on the Porsche Pro Invitational season opener, Damon Woods jumped in and had a chat. And this was post-race. We'd had a fair bit of carnage throughout the course of the evening at Hockenheim. But Woodsy got in there, spoke from the heart, said it how it was, and no holds barred, without really naming names, just took it once and honest. Oh no, Cromwell gone again! Fitz again! Fitz again! This time with the Revolutionary Racing entry. Ratu comes through. Can you believe this? Bradley Ratu now on the tail of Sam Cullen. Oh my goodness me.
Cullen looked vulnerable there with the damage he'd already had on his front end. And it looks like, well, there you go, turn 4. And neither driver backing down, it seems, biting as a result. So they resume the order they were in now, with barring, of course, Ratu in front, a pair of them. And now Banak and Andy Barber along for the ride. And also Chuck in there. I think is that on screen. It's Terry Marsh back on track trying to get classified in this race. So not part of the battle for positions, but now part of this group on the road at least.
And this is interesting too. White flag in the air. We're on the way home. 24 was your bingo number, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to be back on track with the calculations. Will Buchanan, faultless drive tonight. 1.5 seconds to the good on James Scott. Sam Blacklock in for third. Adam Hayne, Lachlan Cable, Bradley Ratu. There will be more to pick apart with regards to the Sam Cullen Blake Fitz incident a little bit later on. Fitz now under pressure from Johnny Banak due to the fact that, as Dan said, that entire incident has just caused everybody to check up, and it's now become one sort of elongated freight train here, and Fitz on the defensive. Banak trying to find a way by. Cullen's up the road. There's your 1-2, ladies and gentlemen. That's Will Buchanan taking the checkered flag and victory. And a commanding one at that in Heat 3, Round 1, Trophi.AI Supercar Series platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube. And what a night it has been for the AITX Revolution e-racing stable. Oh, here we go. We're getting very fruity in the comment section now.
Yeah,
I like it.
I've-
Blake Fitz down the inside. Oh, there's a spinner before the line. Is
Joy's
that...
got him.
Bannock gets through, gets by Fitz in the underline. Well done. It was either Tzidakis or Douglas. It was Tzidakis, I think, that might have been. I don't know.
No,
I
Martin
need to
Lipsky, I'm seeing,
confirm.
had an
No,
incident
Martin
late on.
Lipsky, my apologies. So I was just trying to pick up the colours. I didn't even have the right colours in the end. My apologies. So Martin Lipsky spinning on the final corner. He limps across the line in the end. But well done to Will Buchanan. As Daniel Snedden said, held off the coach. Well played. Held off the coach. That's a vote of confidence and chalk up one for a new term. And these guys will now set their sights on VIR for next week in sprint racing. How about that? Buchanan, Scott, Blacklock, Hayne, Capel, Ratu, Cullen, Bannock, the top 8 in the elite split, from Fitz and Allen making up the top 10. The Ryan Jones disappointing in the end, down in 12th place. Bondi 13th, and then everybody else a lap or more down. Tzidakis, Douglas, Snadden 2 laps down. Marsh 5 laps down and was able to get out there and at least complete it, and that's important because he does get classified being only 5 laps down. He does surpass 75% race distance of a 24-lap race, which is 18. And Connor Nixon, unfortunately, adding insult to injury, the fact that he picked up a 3 safety licence penalty point infringement, and also had packet loss issues left, right and centre. Good old Australia. First world country, third world internet, here we go again. Not the first prominent talking point tonight, unfortunately. Too many tech issues, mechanical tech issues for the sake of it, be it hardware failures, be it bloody internet. I've had a gutful of that already, and it's only week 1 of 10. Ross Armour picked up the victory in the TBC split ahead of JD Dent, and Jackson Sufong was a retirement. Andy Barber got the better of Ryan Barber, Adam Lavis. So Barber 1-2, Gremlin Motorsport dominating the dev split tonight out. Adam Lavis, Greg Heaney, Jake Cowman, and Martin Lipsky ahead of Dale Sharp. Sharpie and Lipsky 2 laps down. Heaney and Lavis 1 lap down. Very, very interesting stuff. Sam Blacklock's here. Craig Bond is here. Sammy, I'm going to come to you in a moment. Bondy, I just need you to unmute the microphone there if you're in the house, and if you're not, I'm going to go elsewhere. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hello, Sam Blacklock. Talk us through that from your standpoint, mate. Chicago, carnage. We'd expect nothing less.
Pretty average night, to be honest. It was pretty clear from the get-go that we just rocked up for a night of racing, and Will's obviously put a lot of work in, obviously with James as well, I'm guessing. So it was probably the best we could have expected with, I guess, how much effort we put into this. Otherwise a pretty enjoyable night of racing, aside from the horrendous incident in race 1, which I don't know if you guys saw that on broadcast, but pretty disgusting. Anyway, I'll let you guys work that one out.
Well, see, this is the point, right? So let me rewind the conversation a couple of minutes, right? Because Daniel Snedden said, I won't detail what ended my night because I'll get in trouble for it, or words to that effect in our comments section, right? And that's obviously set off a chain reaction of, no, be as political as you like, because you may have seen it, mate, a couple of weeks ago. There's something to be said about someone like Damon Woods, the way he goes about his business. I loved it a couple of weeks ago in the Porsche Pro Invitational season. Here we go, Snedden. How good was that dive you did, Sam? He said, with the smiley face. So now even he's throwing shade in your direction. That Damon Woods, someone that we all, respect for what he does on the racetrack and the way he goes about his business off the racetrack. The reality is, he was able to come in there, say his piece, vent his frustration, call it as it was, when it comes to driving standards. And he did it without naming names. He just said, this is a pro series, we're better than that. I love that we can obviously be a little bit more unfiltered and not have to toe the company line. We've seen too much of that rubbish in the last short while, haven't we? With regards to people getting hurled over the coals for stepping out of line or saying something they shouldn't or whatever. But I love that in this 2026 society we live in, people are actually warming to that whole call it as you see it, say it how it is, and let's, fuel the fire based on all of that. Obviously, the comments are coming in your general direction. It is unfortunate, blue flags, but also, I guess the nature of the Chicago circuit makes some parts of the racetrack wider than others, and it did play its part tonight. But in the end, that aside, a nice recovery from you in the in what was left of the evening.
Yeah, exactly. Able to make up. Obviously, start off the front row. Had a good little battle there with Blake Fitz, and that was pretty good. And then obviously the reverse grid just picked our way through. Pardon me, picked our way through, and had a few nice people step out of the way and just let me go, which was very, very kind of them. But I think the race one really set the mood, and you say Chicago's carnage. Well, it's not the longest track, but there's plenty of time for letting cars past while you've got blue flags and stuff like that, and then then you make the call on whether you get involved in an incident or you stay out of an incident. And unfortunately, the driver chose the latter, and just unfortunate. I've got a lot of respect for the team involved with this. Probably a bit shocked and a bit disappointed that stuff like that happens. But exactly. Crying isn't going to bring the result back, and that's correct. But crying might stop it from happening in the future, or put consequences to those sort of actions. So, I'll let all the boys at GSRC work all that one out. But otherwise, really good night of racing, and awesome track to hot lap this car around as well. All the bumps and stuff, getting really close to the wall. It's just super enjoyable, even when in our case, our car wasn't sort of playing ball. But I'd say it's up there for my sort of favorite tracks just to throw this car around. So hopefully we go back to this track again in the future. And looking forward to the upcoming rounds, although I think I'll miss a few due to work and then miss a few due to Pro Series commitments. So that's going to suck. So I'm hoping I miss some of the my not so favorite tracks. But as I said a couple of weeks ago, this calendar's looking pretty good. So I'll be bummed if I miss any, which is going to happen nonetheless.
Well, okay. At that point in time, perfect segue from you. And we'll try and get the conversation back on track here, ladies and gentlemen. Never a dull moment in the post-race show on the platforms of the GSRC. We'll be close to 200 comments in our chat thread by the end of this broadcast, which would be a record. Keep the comments coming in, boys. And we'll deal with it as we need to. But, Dan, can we show everybody at home what Sam Blacklock's talking about there? The term calendar, because it is a beauty. Very American-centric, as we said earlier. One point that I left out of all of this, when I was talking about it in the Toyotas, is just how many bloody concrete canyons there are. Round 1, round 3, round 5, round 9, and round 10. There are 4 street courses, 1 permanent road course. That is a very, very tough schedule to master. I mean, obviously, we know you're going to miss a couple of rounds there due to Pro Series commitments, mate. But that is a terrific schedule. It's a challenging schedule. It's a 17-race schedule because there's 2 super sprints, so that's 6. There's 1 60-minute race. There's 7. 1, 2, 3 40-minute races. That's 10. And 1, 2, 3 sprint rounds. 4 sprint rounds, actually. My apologies. Oh, hang on, let me have a look. I might have miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. No, I was right. So I've missed a 40 minutes somewhere along there. So that's 11, and then your 3 sprint rounds thrown in for good measure there as well in round 3, 5, and 6. So that's as big a schedule in terms of the number of races we've ever had in a supercar season, mate. What are you liking about it? What are you hoping to be available to be here for? And what are you disappointed to miss because you've got commitments elsewhere?
Well, see, I'm not really that onto it, and I'm not really sure which ones I missed due to Pro Series and which ones I missed due to work.
Well, Long Beach is one of them.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Long Beach, I could deal with missing out on that. I think I've raced that the last couple of seasons in here, and hasn't always gone to plan. I think the ones that really sort of stand out, VIR. I'm not sure if I'll make that. I hope I will, but time will tell. And then obviously COTA with the NASCAR layout, St. Petersburg, which I'm yet to turn a lap at. Yeah, probably. I think everyone, is always excited to go to Bathurst.
Yeah.
So those are my main ones. But a little side note, we haven't raced this car at Brands Hatch since season A last year. So I'd love to sort of compare, few seasons difference and see what that's like and what our setup philosophy is around there. And I hope that's one I can make. But you probably know better than me.
Well, this is exactly right. I'm looking at the schedule right now. So April 29, May 13, June 3 are the ones you missed. So that's Long Beach, St. Petersburg, and Road America. So all the good ones, really. You missed those 3 because you'll be racing Road Atlanta, Spa, and Mexico instead with the Pro Series. And, of course, the first of the Enduros there takes place during our semester break, term 2 to term 3. So that's not too bad. But, yeah, to miss those 3 rounds and then obviously have work impact other commitments makes it hard to mount a championship defense here or make a championship attack anyway, doesn't it? How do you go about treating these races as an individual as opposed to as part of a season, mate, when you know you're not going to be in contention?
I think it's much the same. I think you go into every round just wanting to get, the maximum amount of points. And, I'd say it's very, very unlikely I would even be able to contend for the title this season. It would be nice if I could, but I think that's pretty unrealistic. I think, we just try to go into each race and do the best we can, get the, the most out of our car and sort of learn from it. I think I've said this before that, we love using these races as a bit of a learning experience for us. And especially in terms of setup, we'll jump in. None of us had turned any laps here, as far as I'm aware, until the server went up tonight. And we sort of like to challenge ourselves and try and set the car up and do that quite quickly. And, that means that I guess hopefully in future we'll be able to, turn the car around very quickly if need be. But yeah, always good fun for learning. And again, during the races, just trying to do the best job possible and get the most amount of points. And I guess, you end up where you end up.
Indeed. Hey, let's go back and revisit, obviously, it's kind of the topic of the night. That incident, irrespective of that, let's talk about the growing rivalry that's slowly starting to build and form here between the teams. I guess it's good for banter, it's good for the narrative, it's good for discussion in central commentary. But talk to me about the other side of it, the angst and the antsiness that's going with that. Obviously you've got mates right across the board here, but obviously some of those teams now, I'm thinking, Logitech, Orbit, Drop Air Motorsport and DPR, and now, of course, Revolution E-Racing too. So is that an exciting element of racing for you, knowing that there's obviously the competitive aspect to it, but there's also those little personal inner team squabbles that are starting to happen and pop up around the place?
I guess so. I typically try not to get involved in too much of that stuff, but I definitely think you can't deny, there's us as a team over the last sort of year or so have sort of slowly started rising up, and then RER as well have done a very similar thing, and yeah, it's one of those things where as teams rise, you get a bit competitive, and I don't think there's any denying that my sort of main rival in these races is Will Buchanan, and then obviously my own teammates. So there is a bit of a rivalry there, but at the same time, I really enjoy seeing Will do well, and as I've said before, his progression since I've been racing against him is phenomenal. So I think the way I look at it is I think it's exciting, that even Pro Series stuff like that, we get to race against each other a fair bit, and it's always a good benchmark to compare against each other, and work out if we're doing the right thing or they're doing the right thing and we need to step up.
I might bring Will Buchanan in at this point in time and say good evening to him and say congratulations on the win in race 3, especially getting one up on the mentor. We'll talk more about James Scott in a moment, but and I want to actually get Sammy Blacklock's thoughts on what was going through his mind when he saw James Scott in RER colours in the server earlier too. But Will, from your standpoint, mate, just to elaborate on what Sam's been talking about, obviously we're all here for fun. We love the fact that we get to do this. There's a great mateship, camaraderie, community aspect to it, but there is obviously the competitive side to it as well. And I sense, based on what Sam's been saying, based on what I've been seeing, not just in the GSRC but the Pro Series as well, but there are certainly, and it's more noticeable by the year, certainly more team battles popping up around the place. And it doesn't matter exactly who the necessary protagonists are, but there's some fire in there between, as I say, RER and Orbit Drop Bear, and also DPR as well.
Yeah, hey boys. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna jump into it too much. The old rivalry stuff, like, I'll just go out there and race. Like, I've seen Drop Bear as the benchmark in this league for the last few seasons now, and my goal is just trying to get up there more and more each round and try and take it to him. And yeah, it's I'm not going to get into any feuds or anything with them. I'm just going to race respectfully, do what I need to do, and try and get results.
All right, very interesting. Hey, can we get you to elaborate on it? We obviously saw the boys comment there earlier that there's a mutual agreement, a gentleman's agreement, if you like, in place, in which James Scott is part of the stable here. Is that going to be... I see that we've still got the capital city spelt wrong next to your name. So we haven't changed that 2 weeks in.
I just tried fixing it, but alas, apparently no luck.
Copy, Will. Copy, Dan. Thank you. Hey, Will, great to have James Scott, intermittently. He's obviously still part of the Chief stable, but also just dipping his head into the RER stable and giving you guys a little bit of insight and expertise into what he brings to the table. And it showed out there tonight that it's having a positive impact on how you guys go about your business. It must have been nice to get one up on him, though, in race 3 and keep him at bay.
Yeah, no, it's great having a guy like James around in the team. He just makes everyone want to get better. Just has that morale about him, I guess. I don't know if that's the word, but yeah, like, definitely, like, giving us pointers here and there and just trying to help us be better in our racecraft in general. It's been really good for the team to have him around.
Oh, God. Revolution E-Racing now throwing shade with regards to height now. Oh, God, it's all got out of hand. Normally it only gets out of hand on a Friday night, you blokes, not on a Wednesday night. What's going on here? Sam, what was going through your mind when you jumped into the server and saw one J. Scott in RER colours?
Given Will's pace from the outset, I knew we were already in trouble. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, yep, that's more trouble. So, yeah, obviously we as a team didn't do a good enough job with car setup. But yeah, I think, obviously James does a great job mentoring and obviously having driven with him, being teammates with him and stuff like that. So, I'm not surprised at how quick they were tonight. And, just means we've got to step up. But I think we're still going to run our same sort of plan next round where we just rock up and see what the track's like and make changes from there.
All right, very nicely done, Will. We know, here we go. So, yes, the tall 6'7" among us that wouldn't look out of place in a basketball court as opposed to the midgets and the everything in between. How good on you, Brooksy. Appreciate your insight as always. There's that's two measurements. Yeah. Oh dear, it's going to hell in the comments section.
Someone
tonight.
flipped the NSFW toggle already.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. I think. Well, it's very good, Dan. Actually, the NSFW factor, because we've actually exceeded 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is 7:30 Western. We're now 8:30 Western, so we're actually safe for a little bit more fruitier content, which is good. Let's go back to Will Buchanan in all of this, mate. Obviously, we know that Sam's not able to run the full season. I'm interested, obviously, you're still there as a reserve driver to get the call-up potentially for the Logitech G Pro rounds. You did that for Sebring. You did a nice job there preparing for that one and going out there and getting in the thick of the action. It was a good showing, given that those opportunities are going to be limited throughout the course of the season. So with regards to our schedule, knowing that you may still get another call up to go and be a reserve driver again, how do you go about organising yourself for the season, and what do you make of the calendar?
Yeah, I really like the calendar. It's a pity I can only do this race tonight. I go away for work for a few weeks, so I won't be back until round maybe 4 or 5 even, so miss a good chunk of the season. But yeah, no, I love the calendar. I reckon everyone's going to really enjoy all the tracks. I'm hoping to be available for St. Petersburg. I'm keen to give that track a go, and I've been going good at Road Atlanta and all that in the last few weeks and stuff since it's been official, so I'm keen for that round.
Indeed, very nicely done, mate. Let's obviously wish you all the best for the work adventure as well. The rest of the stable tonight, good showing from Johnny Bannock, difficult run for Terry Marsh, but you guys are improving leaps and bounds. There's some good pace, there's some good promise, there's some good potential there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's great to see. The boys are coming along very nicely, especially just all the effort like Terry's putting in, Sam as well. Johnny just getting back into the car after his injury to his ankle. It will come though. They're doing a bunch of laps behind the scenes, and results will show in the future, I reckon.
Indeed. So it's going to be, Dan Yeaman, from our standpoint, from a broadcast standpoint, it's going to be a very lopsided, interesting sort of season, knowing that there's 3 Logitech rounds. I was thinking there might have been only 2, but no, there's 3 in 10 weeks. So that's going to rub a few out of contention and ruin drop rounds and other calculations. You've got Will away because real world commitments are creeping into the mix. It's going to really give us a headache trying to formulate or come up with a definitive form guide for this campaign. So it's going to be an open canvas sort of night in the booth here on the platforms of the GSRC on a Wednesday.
Sounds like it. Yeah, I mean, another chance for a driver like Jazz Douglas, who had consistency and pace enough in hands last season to see off any challenges from those who only made part-time appearances. And look, as much as the order of the last couple of seasons resumed tonight, I'm going to welcome a chance here to see that we open things up to possibly another new champion to make their mark this season when the door opens.
Exactly right. Oh no, GTB is harder than a. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Tommy Wilkinson. Appreciate that.
It's super sexy. What's he going on about?
Oh dear. How good. I love it. Revolutionary Racing saying they struggled bad, but I didn't get to drive near as much as I'd like. Just didn't enjoy it. It's interesting, isn't it? Will, when you look at the fact that you're away for work, mate, and you look at that schedule, what are you disappointed to be missing, knowing that there's absolutely nothing you can do about it? But which circuits would you have liked to have sunk your teeth into that you won't be given the chance to?
Probably Coda. Coda would be a sad one to miss. I really enjoy that track. I enjoy the watching the racing there in real life. So I think the racing there on sim would be pretty good as well. Probably disappointed I'll miss VIR next week too. I think that would be a really good track for everyone to battle at, I reckon.
What about you, Sam? I mean, I miss VIR as well because we've got Porsche Pro Invitational next week. You'll have some of the team caught up in that, but will there be anyone being able to be on deck, on hand to fly the flag for Logitech Orbit Drop there here for VIR next week or not?
At this stage, I'm not sure. I would say there'd probably be a few of us give it a go. I think if Tyson's home, he'll probably have a crack, Mr. Broad. Other than that, I'm not too sure. I think maybe we need to egg Scott Rankin on and get him to come to a round in here.
Oh, here we go. A bit of breaking news in, gentlemen, and this will have a knock-on effect, hopefully in the positive direction in about 6 months' time with regards to diminishing fuel prices. For the moment, who knows how long this is going to last because it seems like they change their mind every day. President Donald Trump has sensationally backflipped on the US Strait of Hormuz deal blockade, claiming that it will remain permanently open as China agrees to stop sending Iran weapons. So that is the latest news coming in about 5 minutes ago. Let's see how long it lasts. So that might be good news with regards to not hurting so much and having to fork out an arm, a lung, a kidney, and a leg.
I'll give it until his next.
I'll give it until next week, Greg. Yeah.
I'm going to give it till his next aneurysm when he's standing behind the White House podium trying to reel off something.
Oh no! I love it. I'll get back to you in a moment because I think the whiskey business entries are bruised and battered a little bit tonight. Certainly you and Dane Snadden. Thank you, mate. I won't keep you guys much longer, knowing full well that we're not going to see it so much throughout the course of the season, except to go back to you. I'll get some thank yous from Will in just a moment. But to you, Sam Blacklock, thoughts on the rest of the stable, and can you shed some light on the issues that Bradley Ratu had there in race 3? Was that a mechanical or / technical issue at his end?
So with Brad, I do believe he did have a glass of milk before the race. I do believe it was skim though. So yeah. I think that's his problem. But in all seriousness, no, as far as I know, he just made a mistake, and unfortunately, yeah, that put pay to his, I think it was second race. So yeah, yes. Unfortunate, but yeah, I'll just quickly give a quick shout out to Logitech G, Revolution Race Gear, and iLiveries for their support, and obviously a big thanks to all the boys that jumped in and had a crack tonight. Good to have, I think, 4 of us in there. If you count Connor. So, yeah, hopefully see more of it when we can during the rest of the season.
Still waiting for the connection to reach Perth, actually, poor Connor. Yeah. we knew that had happened eventually, that the West Coast would just lose contact with the East Coast. It happened tonight for Connor. The comments on what was good, though, for the rest of the stable, mate. I mean, obviously, yeah, the AITX boys are cut above, but good to see Lockie Cable out there. Good to see you out there. Good to see Bradley out there. Strong numbers. Not necessarily the result you would have been chasing, but at least it gives you some good data to go back to the drawing board with.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, we'll learn from it and go from there.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before I go back to Will?
No, I think I got them all.
Good boy.
You got the ones that matters, yeah.
Good to catch up with you, buddy. Thank you for that. We look forward to obviously seeing you out there tearing it up and doing what you do so well when you're able to throughout the course of the season. And obviously, best of luck with the 3 Logitech rounds that do take you out of the booth, of our server through the process. But work can't be helped. But nonetheless, we do look forward to seeing you when the chance presents itself throughout the course of the season. Go well.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Dan. See you later.
There he is, Sammy Blacklock. Definitely not backwards and coming forward tonight. As I said, I love it when we take the Damon Woods approach. Rip the Band-Aid off. No holds barred. Pack a punch and have at it. Speak from the heart. Speak with passion. And just air the dirty laundry. Occasionally, that's the best plan of attack. Some of it might be viewed politically incorrect or not favourably, but again, it just gives us something to talk about and something to keep an eye on, and I'm all for it. Hey, Will, finish it off for me, mate. Good start to the term. You can't ask for much better than that for the AITX stable. You guys have hit the ground running here, and a positive impact, no doubt. The fact that you've got someone of James Scott's credentials in your corner. How much time have you spent with James, and how much of a positive impact has that had on what you bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't worked with him too much one-on-one. He's just more there, just trying to give me advice when I ask it, or just talking to him, just asking him questions about this racing in general and all that. He's just good for support and having him around a team. So yeah, just haven't done much work, but it is good to just reach out to him when I can, when I am struggling with something. He's always happy to help.
Righto, mate. We know you're going away for work for a little bit. That's unfortunate for us, but obviously it pays the bills so that you can pay your membership and come back racing when time permits. Give us the lay of the land. Who would you like to thank? Who do you want to acknowledge after what was a very good showing, particularly in race 3?
Yeah, obviously big shout out to RER boys, and then also to our sponsors AITX, Shield Coat, Sudspeed, Kibby, Shore X4, and Slady's Gossworks. Can't appreciate all the stuff they do behind the scenes for us.
Excellent, mate. Terrific to catch up with you. Well done to Dan Yeaman in the background, who's managed to rectify the spelling problem with Brisbane. So we now recognise exactly where Will Buchanan's based. That was one of the ingredients in which people were able to extract a bit of piss over the course of term 1. We've now fixed that for term 2. Well done to Dan Yeaman. Well done to you, buddy. Great win tonight, and look forward to seeing you after that work has wrapped up and you're back at base. In the meantime, go well.
Too easy, boys. Have a good one.
Can we just remind everybody, Dan, results, race 1, race 2, race 3. Can we just quickly rip through those and show everybody on screen here before we chat to Mr. Heaney?
Sure can.
The Revolutionary Racing boys have almost sounded scripted. You didn't necessarily structure it that way, did you, Greg?
No.
Actually,
No.
no. Brooksy in the comment thread. That Brook. Yeah.
Of course he would have scripted it.
Yeah. That's exactly why I asked the question. I'm coming back to that in a minute, though. James Scott, the winner in race 1 from Will Buchanan and Lachlan Capel. Race 2, That was Andy Barber, of course, winning from
I was gonna
Ryan
say,
Barber.
are we
and
doing
Adam
this?
Lavis
Are we
in
doing
the dev
race by
split.
class or then?
Actually, let's
class-
do race overall if we can, because then I can quickly just acknowledge the class winners along the way there. Great to see such good numbers here opening night of the term. But James Scott, Will Buchanan, Lachlan Cable, Andy Barber, Ryan Barber, Adam Lavis, the winners of the respective two splits. I'm not going to worry about to be confirmed, because obviously that'll be null and void by Adam Lavis before the end of the night, I'm sure. Race 2. So Sam Blacklock, so that was a good win from him in race 2 and a very comfortable one as well. Lockie Cable, Ryan Jones. So 2 completely different looking podiums there, first and second race. Andy Barber again, Adam Lavis, Ryan Barber. So those guys first, second and third much of the night in the dev split. And in race 3, as we said earlier, Will Buchanan. So that's what I wanted to confirm. 3 different winners in the elite split throughout the course of the night. James Scott with 2 podiums, Sam Blacklock with 2 podiums as well. Different podium in race 2 to race 3, because obviously overtaking at a premium, very difficult for the guys to work their way through the field. Caution, the better part of Valor. Everyone had to play patient, play the long game, and most of them were able to do that. Andy Barber again winning the dev split, so he's had a rock and roll night out from Ryan Barber and Adam Lavis. Greg Heaney, welcome to you.
How we going?
I'm well. Just going back to Brooksy's point with regards to whether it was scripted or not, I don't care. There's so much of everything that we do these days that's too bloody scripted. And I was saying it on just by watching some of the game shows on free-to-air television. Here with Mum this week, we're just chewing the fat around the dinner table. We've had lunch. We're just sitting there. Catching up, and I made the comment. Obviously, it's not so much with what I do, because a lot of what I do is ad lib, but I love people, and it was evident, 20 years ago when Larry Emder was hosting The Price Is Right. A lot of that was ad lib, but these days, you watch something like Bridge of Lies or The Chase UK, and it just sounds so tediously bloody scripted, like they're reading an auto cue whilst they're hosting a game show. Whatever happened to authentic ad-libbing? I want to see more of that. I'm all for it here on the platforms of the GSRC. Anyway, let's go back to you. Let's talk about the night that was from a Whiskey Business Racing stable perspective. Disappointing to see, I guess. A couple of crunched up cars there. But, again, points for perseverance and playing the long game, mate. Both you and Dane Snadden out there to the very end, even though I think you might have been 2 laps down and Dane was 1 lap down, or vice versa. In the end, tough track to master in what's going to be a tough championship, based on the fact that we've got 4 street circuits and 1 very notorious road course in Mount Panorama.
Yeah, I mean, look, most of the series we've selected this year, or this season, is in line with the officials, so with a few tweaks here and there. But yeah, no, it's race 1 and race 2. Yeah, a little bit disappointed with the fact that I ended up with a bent car a couple of times, but some cracking battles for 23rd, 24th, and 25th with Dale and JD. That was absolutely fantastic. I haven't driven this thing for like 12 weeks, so to blow the cobwebs out, and I knew I was going to probably bend it or at least balk a start, which I did twice. But no, it was a decent night out. Luke's continuing on with his decent form, so with any luck, I think Nathan might be back on the grid next week. He's probably away for work this week, hence why he's not here. But yeah, if we can get a couple more on, and it'll look pretty good too. So we'll see how we go.
From your perspective, obviously you mentioned getting back behind the wheel, but I mean, you've been here for much of the post-race show. You've probably heard what we're talking about. There's some good inter-team rivalries forming here at the moment from a club standpoint. I'm sure there's 2 ways to look at this. But from my standpoint, from a commentary standpoint, it's exciting to have another element or point of discussion. From your standpoint, what do you make of the recent rivalries that are brewing between Revolution and also Orbit Drop Bear, but also Orbit Drop Bear and DPR, etc., etc. Vermilion's another one. I'm sure I'm leaving one or two out, but Eclipse, Lobs, all those guys over in the Logitech G Pro stable. Is it a healthy thing to have some inter-team rivalry?
Always. You always, if you don't have a bit of inter-team rivalry, I mean, whether it be within your own team or with another team, it's just going to get stale. So it's always good to have a little bit of rivalry there. And as Will was saying, with the guys that they've got now and just getting that little bit more, and you've got somebody with the caliber that they've got over at RER, and then you look at Orbit with Sam and all that. Everybody around them is going to be urging to go that little bit quicker. So us with Luke Page, he's probably one of our quickest supercar drivers at this point in time. So we'll all strive to get that a little bit faster and get up to the pointy end. I know Dane's pretty quick as well. I think he just got caught out a little bit tonight. So, but yeah, we'll see how we go as we get further on into the season.
Very nicely done. You mentioned Luke Page. Again, going to be a challenging season because obviously so near yet so far in the campaign last term. All the ingredients were just mentioned with regard to sprint rounds and bloody concrete canyons, drivers coming and going with regards to other commitments, Logitech G Pro, personal work otherwise. But if Page can maintain his consistency, he's going to be there when the whips are cracking again.
Yeah, most definitely. And yeah, with some of the faster boys that did actually get into the Pro Series and so forth, if with the new point structure and everything like that, and rewarding consistency and participation, rewarding those that turn up every week and stick it out and everything like that, it'll yeah, he'll be up the front again with no doubt. So
Chicago, not everybody's cup of tea, but it put on a good spectacle. Are you happy to see the back of it though?
I don't mind the track. I don't know how on earth the guys get around here in Indy cars and so forth like that at the pace that those things carry. But no, in the supercar, actually, it's not a bad track to drive. You just got to be a little bit gentler on the throttle coming out of some corners.
What are you most excited about? I mean, obviously, we know you've got a hands-on involvement in the series, but when you look at the calendar, what excites you and what frustrates you?
Look, frustration, probably my own control with the car. I've got to work on that a bit more. But I'm really interested to see how these things take to the streets of St. Pete. I've done a couple of laps around there in a GT3 because I know that's on the GT3 calendar as well.
Yep.
But yeah, these things around the streets of St. Petersburg, which is tighter than the streets of Adelaide and a lot tighter than the streets here, it's going to be interesting, shall we say.
Well, that's exactly right. The other point that we should raise with you is I didn't worry too much with regards to Sam or Will, because they've already elaborated what they're applying their trade at, what they're dipping their hat into the ring with this season, and what's going to compromise their ability to do so. But we know that you are a regular on other nights of the week. Have we had any success in recruiting Whiskey Business Racing competitors to the grid for Formula V tomorrow night, please? Because if not, I'm going to be disappointed.
I don't know. I need to check with the guys. I'm not entirely sure if any of them are looking to drive it. So I will need to check with the boys to see if anyone's going to jump in. At this point, I know I haven't done a livery for it, so I might have to knock one up quickly when I get home. But if not, the boys will be running in whatever they choose for tomorrow if they do jump on the grid, and I'll have to sort one out for next week.
Very good. Now, where else are you going to go racing this term?
In the GTPs on Friday night.
Any Porsches or not?
No, I've decided I'm only going to do three nights a week this season. So I'm going to do the supercars because Nathan and Dane urged me to jump back in and have another steer. So we're doing supercars, GT3, and I'm going to do GTPs on Friday.
All right, very nicely done. difficult juggling, balancing act, I guess, when you've also got to allocate time to GSRC committee matters, not least of obviously looking after the team admin side of things as well, mate. And did you get a chance over the course of the break, I should ask, to get to the recruitment table or not?
No, we haven't picked anybody else up over the break yet. We may pick up some more people as we go, but we'll see.
All right, very nicely done. Anything else to add from you tonight?
No, just a thanks to our sponsors as well. So we've got Project X. I don't know if Will Yarwood's watching or not. I know he's only just
He's off
gotten
to
back.
Toowoomba this weekend.
Yeah, and he's only just gotten back apparently from 2 weeks on a very large boat out in the middle of the ocean somewhere. So he's went on a cruise or something. So yeah, thanks to Will, Richo as well from Disruptive Labs. He's now thankfully back at home and doing a lot better than he has been. So good to see he's up and about. Pumps and Pipe Supplies, one of our other guys' companies as well. Got them on the car, and yeah, pretty much everybody.
All right, very nicely done. I was going to say there were other Carters in the community, Bondi included, and he left because I reckon he had bed calling, even though it's school holidays. I reckon he's still recovering from the trip to Victoria for the Victorian State Karting Championships at Albury-Wodonga over the course of the weekend. So he was, I think he was just this side of the border, but still, the town of 2 cities and 2 states. So we'll catch up with Bondi at a later point in time, but he was down there. So when you said Will's been on the road, and then you mentioned the second part, until you mentioned the second part, I was starting to think he might have actually made the trip down to Victoria. But no, he's got a busy couple of weeks coming up. Toowoomba, Ipswich in the space of a fortnight, then another round of the Nationals. And they're in the backyard in Ipswich, of course, in June as well. So we're looking forward to that. Good to catch up, mate, for the first time this term, and great to have you back in business, and the car's looking a treat. We look forward to seeing what you guys bring to the table as the season goes on. Hopefully you'll have a couple of contenders. I know not you personally, but hopefully a couple of contenders out there tomorrow night in 1 or 2 of the offerings that we've got on the broadcast.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. One sponsor I did forget, CPM Test and Tag. We've got them on the back of the car. I forgot. Callum will kill me if I don't mention it.
See, that's why Brooksy's probably got his script for his team.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, admittedly, we've only had him on the car. We haven't had him on the car for terribly long.
No, good to have a new one on board, though. And again, it just highlights just how vibrant and thriving the sim racing industry is at the moment. The fact that more people are coming on board, with each and every passing season. Calendars have been well received. Everything going good from a club standpoint. I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it. Greg, I haven't had anyone tap me on the shoulder yet or call upon me to jump in on Friday nights, but Friday nights are going to be a floating sort of fixture. If we can do it, we do it. If we can't, then we won't throughout the course of the term. But you get well acquainted with me for most Mondays, Wednesdays and Thursdays for the next 10 weeks for the 25th season. So that's a nice little milestone for the club to notch up as well.
Yes, most definitely. So onwards and upwards from here, I reckon.
All right, go and get some sleep, mate. I think you've earned it.
Yep, most definitely. I will catch you guys next time.
Indeed you will. There he is, Greg Heaney. Dan Yeaman gave me a threshold of about 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight, and we're going to be right on the cusp of 11. Before I do a look ahead, final thoughts from you, sir, and it's good to have you back on board and share the booth with you again on a Wednesday night this term.
I mean, yeah, look, the pleasant surprise there of James Scott rejoining racing here at the club and to do it with AITX Revolutionary Racing, and how that might set the tone for the rounds that he's available, and guys like Will Buchanan to sort of lead the charge for the team as well. But obviously, as we heard there, Will's going to be out for a couple of weeks now, so it might just temper the situation for a bit. And of course, my guys sort of a bit more of a bit of a different approach, it seems, in terms of the commitment that they'll be putting in. But nevertheless, hopefully we'll see another good season. And this is the template for what we've got. And, mix in Long Beach in 2 weeks' time as our next and final street circuit of this type. Actually, no, who am I kidding? It's literally 1, 3, and 5. Chicago, Long Beach, St. Petersburg, with that being the new track of the type. And then, yeah, I mean, look, the rain being a little wild for the 86s to kick off things as well. And Adam Haynes' complete and utter domination of that race is certainly not to be ignored or forgotten. And whether that's particularly down to the weather of the race there, or if that's a form guide that will be applicable to both wet and dry running, we'll have to simply wait and see, I guess.
Indeed, we will. Good to catch up with you again, mate. Look forward to doing so in a fortnight. Obviously, I'm away next week with Porsche Pro Invitational, but Long Beach, looking forward to that. Detroit in the back half of the season makes it 4 street circuits in this campaign, so it's going to be a very busy old time in the Trophi.AI Supercar Series in Term 2 of 2026 platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and they are made possible with thanks to Waste Options, Trophi.AI, merch.tgsrc.in, Flash Graphics, and of course the great people at Disruptive Labs, which brings me to the road ahead. Merch.tgsrc.in is where you go for all your relevant GSRC merch and paraphernalia. There's a great range of stock in the merch store. Get amongst it, purchase some club paraphernalia, show the club colours wherever you go, and spread the word, the message about what we do and how we do it and why we do it and where and when and what, where, when, yes, why and how. I think I've nailed that, or made a mess of it, one of the two. It doesn't matter. But yes, the what, where, why, when, and how of the club takes me to the schedule ahead. And tomorrow night, much like tonight, same venue for both the main course and dessert. And I say main course because Formula V is first up, ladies and gentlemen. Sprint racing, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. The old formula, it works a treat. So don't break it, don't wreck with it, don't tinker with it in any way, shape or form. The formula reconfiguration of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. We stay there for the Porsche Cup on the full circuit, the Grand Prix circuit. A 40-minute race from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. We will bring you the elite split tomorrow night. So again, elite and open split into 2 separate servers, and we will, like we do with GT3, chop and change between the 2 servers as the season goes on, so that you do see not necessarily an even split, but certainly your fair share of elite and open races. So that's all 7:30 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Matt Schmidt, Andrew Neal joining me for all the fun of the fair there. Friday night, the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, the GP circuit there in Imola, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. The race gets underway. It's the first race, the new GSRC Endurance Championship. So the Gentleman's Endurance Championship, with thanks to Disruptive Labs, and also Formula V is thanks to Adam and the crew at Disruptive Labs as well. So we're happy to have Richo on board there again, a naming rights sponsor of the club and those 2 championships. 8:30 Eastern, 6:30 Western on Friday night. If we get live, it'll be 8:25 Eastern, and we're looking forward to that from Imola in Italy, where the World Endurance Championship will be this weekend. So that's going to be good fun. The spin of the wheel on Friday night will determine the car of choice for Saturday night as Mountain Men returns for a brand new season. 200 kilometres, 32 laps, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. In fact, I think I might be right in saying that they've gone to 8 p.m. Eastern for the winter months because it's still 6 o'clock on the West Coast. So it was 5:30 Western, 8:30 Eastern. Yes. I think it's now 8 and 6. Yep. Copy that. Thank you, mate. So 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for that. But the car of choice will be determined on Friday night with a wheel spin. And if we don't get on air for that, then the wheel spin will be done in-house, and the announcement will be made internally in club service so that everybody knows what's going on there. That takes us to the start of week 2. Sorry, folks, I'm hitting the wall here. Week 2, there it is for you, Monday night. The Algarve International Circuit, Portimao, Portugal. First sprint round of the season, Waste Options Formula 3. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, we're on air 7:25. Then to the Pro-Am split for the first time this term, for Waste Options GT3 from the Mugello circuit in Italy. Real European flavour next Monday Night Motorsport. That will be, I'll be back in Ipswich for that one. That's Monday, April 20. Looking forward to that. Prime split in focus there for a 1 hour race. Committee's choice Tuesday night. TCR from Knock Hill. There's been a big vibe on TCR of late, just not in Australia. In the real world, at least. In the sim world, it's thriving, it's vibrant, it's beautiful. We're off to Scotland, TCR, Tuesday night, server open 7 p.m, racing to follow that. That is non-broadcast, of course, but that's committee's choice for 2026's second term. Wednesday night, I won't be here, but Dan will be. Virginia International Raceway, sprint racing first up for the Toyota 86s, and a 40-minute race second up. So the reverse format, really, of what we saw tonight. Where we saw a single race for the 86s and a sprint round for the supercars. Reverse that next week. 40-minute race for the supercars. Earlier finish because we'll do about half as much racing and 2 less start procedures. 7:25 if live and that's very much dependent upon Dan Yeaman's work commitments, of course.
Yes.
If not, there'll be a replay in due course conducted by Adam Lavis and I'm sure. But yes, next week, Virginia International Supercars, second up, 8:40 Eastern. 86s first up, 7:30 Eastern. Hope you can join us for that. So it's just going to be another one of those watch and act, wait and see sort of terms here on the platforms of the GSRC with regards to my colleagues. Real life work schedule, and that's been a prominent talking point throughout the course of the evening, hasn't it? Everybody just making it work around ever increasingly busy and difficult juggling acts that are our personal life and our work commitments and everything else. But as we did last term, we'll make it work again here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Now, where the bloody hell did I go wrong earlier? Because I was just trying to work out how I cocked that up, because I was only coming up with 5 and I thought there was 6. The what, the when, the why. Yeah, no, I've just lost the thread. I'll worry about it another day. I know there's 6 of them. There's who, what, when, where, why, and how. That's it. Yeah, thank you. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. I knew I'd get there in the end. I was missing the who, wasn't I? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Just look at us, particularly me, absolutely struggling this late on a Wednesday night. I hope you enjoyed that. Me struggling as well as the racing on screen. The comment thread was going off. Some good banter in there. A little bit of fuel on the fire and in the belly as well with regards to a view to the rest of this campaign. We've enjoyed that. We hope you have as well. The Chicago street circuit. No shortage of carnage. No shortage of water in the early part of the evening. Plenty of stories to tell. Plenty of dangling tails between the legs at the end of the night, a few walking wounded. But if you're an AIT Revolution E-Racing entry, AITX Revolution E-Racing entry, you're extremely happy with how that's played out, particularly if your names are Will Buchanan and James Scott. Hope you've enjoyed it wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world, across Facebook and YouTube. And speaking of happy, can we get a shot of the Gremlin Motorsport boys just to take us out, Dan? Because well done to Andy and Ryan Barber, who, along with Adam Lavis, were the top 3 in all 3 races in the V8 Dev Split tonight. So it's a great start to the campaign for the Gremlin Motorsport boys as well. We look forward to your company tomorrow night. I will be bouncing off the walls tomorrow night on all cylinders. Formula V is back on the platforms of the GSRC from Mexico City, and the Porsches as well. Until then, on behalf of Dan Yeaman, the entire broadcast commentary and production team here, go out and enjoy your Thursday morning if you're in New Zealand, and what's likely your Wednesday night here in Australia. And we look forward to your company 7:30 Eastern tomorrow night. Until then, bye for now.